My husband has kids with another woman, and I just discovered it now.
Here's a secret.
Your marriage is over.
I can't even wrap my head around what's happening right now. I'm going to try and be as rational as possible. The background. We met 13 years ago and fell madly in love. We still are what everyone calls the perfect couple. And up until the other night, I believed it. By the way, this comes from Deleted. And if you want to send in your own stories, go to the r/Okie Storytime subreddit. So we talk openly and honestly, I thought, about everything. We are best friends, have amazing spicy sleep, travel twice a year, and have made an amazing home together. We don't have any children, something we decided before getting married for various reasons. But he made a decision somewhere else, I guess, apparently. We were both so happy with the decision because we have such a good life, just us, the 3 cats, and a dog. I've been nothing but thrilled with our relationship and the life we've built. When we met, I knew that he had an ex-wife. He didn't like talking about her, but I know she was pretty awful, emotionally abusive, controlling, and I think even a bit physically harmful too. She had an affair leading up to their divorce. She really did a number on him, and he was single for a long time until he started dating again, which was me.
Woo. Okay, cool.
I've always sensed there was something he couldn't quite tell me. He's always a cheerful guy around people and even with me, but once I heard him crying in the shower, and sometimes I'll come into a room and he'll just be staring at a wall, looking absolutely depressed.
Oh, man.
When I talk to him, he'll say something sweet like he was thinking about what his life would be like if he never met me or if he lost me. I thought it was weird because I don't think like that, but I believed him because why wouldn't I? But we have the next section, Sophia, because that was the background.
Yeah.
You know what this new section is titled?
What?
The truth comes out.
Oh, man.
That's what it's titled.
The truth comes out.
It's here.
It's hot off the presses.
It's hot off the presses.
Ooh-wee.
Are we actually physically hot?
Actually physically hot, too.
Let's cool it down. Let's crank the temperature down.
Boy, it's toasty in here.
Toasty story. Well, last weekend, we were at his family's house for a big get-together. They do this all the time. He usually drinks when he's with his brother, but this time we were really putting them back. Normally, he is really happy, friendly wasted. This time he was argumentative and standoffish. I let him be and was hanging out with my sister-in-law for ages. When I went looking for him, he was in the basement with his brother. The steps down are behind the couch that they were sitting on. I heard them talking as I was going down, and my husband was saying things like, 18, man, F. Huh? And stuff about missing so much. Ooh. I think we know what he's talking about.
We know.
Yeah,
know.
My question now is, did he abandon the kids or has he been kept outside?
It seems a little, that comment suggests that he didn't have the option.
Well, we all know a deadbeat dad classic is it's like, oh, suddenly now I'm upset now that you're 18 and I'm not legally supposed to take care of you. Now I wish I would have.
True.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, it seems like there's a potential that these kids there was no overlap here. This was from before.
It's possible it could have been a kid outside of the relationship and that he had no idea about. Yeah. This is all possible. We are still in potentially okay grounds here. All right.
Yeah, we're in the discovery phase.
But his brother was confronting him. When I made my presence known, I wasn't even down the stairs yet, not trying to eavesdrop. My husband got mad like I've never seen him. He was telling me to go back upstairs and leave him alone. I was really hurt, having never been talked to like that. I did go back up for a while until my brother-in-law said that he was going to sleep it off there and would see me in the morning. This is getting serious. My husband finally comes home after 11 a.m. in the morning, very unwell and apologetic, saying that he needed to have a serious talk. I've been up all night freaking out. I know it seems weird, but we've never been apart at night. I thought he was having an affair, wanting a divorce, etc., etc. He told me that he had 2 children with his ex-wife.
Okay, so ex-wife. This is shocking news, but at least it's not children during the relationship.
Or is it?
Oh.
Or is it?
Oh, he's like, yeah, I had 2 children with my ex-wife. Didn't tell you when.
You know what they say? The mistress you know
That's, I guess so.
is the mistress sometimes.
That's true.
That's
It
a
is just the
saying that they
mistress.
say.
Yeah, that's a saying.
Very
A lot
common.
of sayings today.
That's right. What? The son was 5 and the daughter was 2 when they got divorced. When the ex-wife decided to marry the guy she was having an affair with, she asked that my husband give up his rights and
Whoa.
let her new husband adopt them. Is that even legal?
If he does it.
He said that she threatened and manipulated him until he agreed. The story was really long, but that's the idea. We talked the whole day, but I just can't understand. The children are not children anymore. The girl just turned 18. It was her birthday that night that he got so wasted. The son is 21 years old. He wants to contact them now that they're grown and get in touch with them without having to go through their mother. I don't know if that's even a good idea. How could he give up his children? How could he allow someone so unstable to raise them? That's another good point. How could he lie to me for 13 years? It might be selfish, but I'm most upset about that. I think that's valid.
It's a very valid thing to be upset about. You don't know the kids.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it's an important thing, but the thing that affecting you is that he lied.
Yeah, and now it's like, what else has he lied about if he's kept that for 13 years?
Yeah.
It might be selfish, but I'm the most upset about that. His family obviously knew, and I'm super close with them.
Yeah, so they all lied to you too.
Dang. I don't know if I can trust him to lie about something so big for so long. He said it's because he was deeply ashamed. I don't think that's good enough. What now? Well, what's going to happen right now is I'm going to turn to my trusted co-hosts, Dakota and Sophia. Please respond with your thoughts.
Oh man, I mean, I don't think that's a reasonable answer, or I don't think that's a good enough answer.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's reasonable, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good enough answer.
Being like, I didn't tell you this because I knew you wouldn't like me.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like
that's
I'm
not a
ashamed
good
of it.
reason.
It's like you should be ashamed of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like these aren't, the thing is, we read a lot of stories where someone's given up their kids, or like they give up their parental rights when the baby's born. This isn't, he gave up the parental rights when the baby's born. These were 3 and 5-year-old children?
2 and 5.
Sorry, 2 and 5-year-old children. Those are children you've bonded with. Those are children that know who he is and will remember him. Maybe less so the 2-year-old, but definitely the 5-year-old will remember him to some degree. And you never tried to get in contact. You giving up your parental rights is like, he would have been able to get some sort of custody had he not done that.
Yeah.
I question if there was criming involved.
Criming?
Criming.
Yes, law.
Did he do some criming?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe she's blackmailing him with crime.
I don't know why he would be like, oh no, 18 years, man. It's like, well, yeah, that's kind of the whole point, isn't it?
Like, he didn't even get in contact with his son when he turned 18.
Great point.
Like, why? I mean, why was he waiting for both of them to be? I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of suspicious stuff here.
Very much so. A lot of answers, or a lot of questions that we might have an answer with this next update.
Oh, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Okay. I've been dealing with my anger towards the situation. I can't say I'm over it, but really it's only been about a week and a half. We've talked, and while I still don't agree with his decision to keep me in the dark, I'm trying to accept it. The whole giving up his kids thing is that makes me uncomfortable, and I haven't gotten much more explanation, but I can't even begin to put myself in that situation, so I would take his word that he did what he had to do.
No.
I talked to his family as well. They didn't know too much about the situation because him and the wife lived on the other side of the country.
They didn't know about his 2 and 5-year-old?
I think they did, but they didn't know much about it.
But that's still crazy to me.
Yeah, that they wouldn't be like, yo, what's going on here?
What happened to your 2 and 5-year-old children?
Yeah, where's your kids?
Where'd they go?
The wife really didn't like visiting them, and they were only invited over once after the children were born in 5 years. It wasn't a pleasant holiday, and all of the family felt very uncomfortable. Apparently, they were not made to feel welcome by her. After finding out about my husband's children, he's felt like now he can make real efforts into trying to find them. The one main thing holding him back was not wanting to do something like this behind my back and being so afraid of telling me.
This was all behind her back. What are you talking
The
about?
whole thing's behind her back.
The whole thing. So he did some proper searching on Facebook, not just in the area that he left them, but the whole country. He had to weed through lots of people, even contact a few that weren't right, but he found the girl and she replied and they spoke on the phone. They waited a long time and here's what he learned. His son is in prison on substance-related charges. He is 1 year in on a 3-year sentence. I'm sorry, but like, if I was the husband and I heard that, I'm like, I did this.
Guilt. Yeah.
This is my fault.
I mean, you left your children with like a crazy person.
I read ahead and it gets worse. Sophia. As for the daughter, she has a 2-year-old and is pregnant at 18. Neither baby's fathers are in the picture. She didn't finish high school. She doesn't even remember the guy that her mom married after my husband because he left them so early on. The mom was a single mother with men in and out all the time, real losers. The kids were always told that their daddy didn't want them. When they would be bad, the mom would say, see, this is why daddy left you.
That's like, oh my God.
I want to throw all these people into a thermonuclear reactor.
And the thing is like, obviously this isn't true, but to the kids, effectively, that is what he did. He left.
Yes.
He abandoned them.
Yes. Yes. Like, we need to, I think we're all thinking this. The reason why husband is not revealing the blackmail and the crazy manipulation is that it wasn't anything so crazy that he couldn't just work at it. And it's like, you could probably go through the court of law and everything else and get it all sorted and situated.
Exactly.
100%. Her mom and her live together, neither work. The mom is wasted and sounds like a mean one. Husband is really depressed about how things worked out for them. He wonders what would have happened if he had fought for them. Yeah. He offered to meet with the daughter. She wasn't too eager, but didn't say she was against it. More of a, yeah, one day maybe kind of thing. She did ask for money though. So he sent her $5,000 a few days ago. Yesterday, she called looking for more, saying she had to pay off her debt and now needs money for the baby.
Got a baby?
She has 2 children. She's 18 years old. Yes.
Which is, I wanted to say, perfect opportunity for him to come in and be like, I'll raise your 2 children.
Yeah.
I'll make up for the debt.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, probably not a good at this guy. I don't think this guy should be raising anybody.
No.
I mean, but
this would really change.
Who knows?
How
Maybe
I
they would have
looked
been even worse if he had raised them.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This would really change how I looked at my partner.
Completely.
Oh yeah.
He feels so bad about everything, so he's going to send the same again. I have a feeling it's never going to stop. We are successful people and have the money, but I feel like he'll be taken advantage of. It'll always be for the baby, and I don't see him ever being able to say no. When his son is out, is he going to expect the same thing? Is this something that he should be doing to make up for his mistakes? I don't want to be a horrible person here, but the whole thing makes me uncomfortable. I didn't sign up for kids and grandkids, and now our money is going to them. We have update 2.
I mean, dang.
Yeah.
Oof.
Like, OP's right. Like, she's like,
No,
I did not sign up for this. We decided to be child free, and now there's grandchildren?
Yeah. Yeah, and you're on the slippery slope of every time you pay, they're gonna ask for more.
Yeah.
Because they know that they can manipulate you.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like they've learned the same tricks that their mom maybe was using on you of, I don't know, just asking you to do something and you
doing it. Yeah.
Like OP's, I don't know. OP's like, oh, I didn't sign up for this. You didn't. Yeah, you were lied to. The contract of your marriage has changed.
Yep.
My concern would be, she's like, I didn't sign up to give all of this money to them. It's like, you're focusing on the wrong thing. You need to probably leave this partnership.
Exactly. Well, I think it is an important facet. You're gonna lose, like, a lot of money is gonna go to them, but the point of that is that maybe this relationship is no longer viable because he's lying to, or he's been lying to you.
Yeah. And also too, just like, it almost feels like he's like, oh, the money thing is just like this easy way to try to appease the
win
guilt.
them back,
It's not actual real work
No.
at the end of the day. It's not real work.
Yeah.
Oh, but ladies and gentlemen, we have update number 2, and let's just say it's not improving.
Oh, no.
Things have spiraled out of control.
Ooh, of course they have.
If you didn't think they weren't already completely spiraled out,
Don't worry, they got worse.
I can't believe how fast this is all happening. I mentioned in some comments last time about how I convinced my husband to not send any more money to his daughter without even meeting her, that there were better means of handling the situation. He agreed, not easily though, as she was saying how desperate she was, and told his daughter. I was around while he was on the phone with her and did hear parts of the conversation. He actually blamed me for the change of plan, and I could tell he was desperately trying to be the good guy, which after everything I can understand. She got angry, yelled at him, and cried for a long time. When things calmed down, that he said he was happy to go see her as soon as possible, take her shopping, stock up on diapers, formula, food for her, whatever she needed. She said it would be a lot easier to just transfer the money again and she'd go get that. Thankfully, he stood his ground. She eventually relented and he booked a flight out last weekend. He went on his own, which I thought was the right thing to do. I barely heard anything until he got back, checked in via text a couple of times. That was a bit odd because we were always in contact even during work hours. So he got home Sunday night. He was there from Saturday afternoon to Sunday evening, staying at a hotel. That night, it was like prying teeth to try and get anything out of him. He was in a horrible mood, and the next day, I found out the whole story.
Uh-oh.
His daughter and ex are living in squalor. They have a tiny basement apartment where the daughter and baby sleep in one bedroom and the mom sleeps on the couch. The place is filthy, tiles missing in the ceiling, paint coming off the walls, etc. The mother looks extremely unwell. Her skin is like she's in her 60s, skeleton thin, yellowed eyes, etc. The daughter is morbidly obese, knew she was overweight from the pictures on Facebook, and he gets the impression that she lays around the house all day. The ex was surprisingly indifferent towards him. He said it was like all the fight had gone out of her and she's just given up. She's constantly drinking and smoking, even around the baby. He didn't think that the daughter was smoking or drinking while pregnant, or at least not while he was there. He wanted to know what the money had gone to. She explained about back rent, bills, credit cards, etc. He didn't ask to see anything. I think I would have.
Yeah, I'd be like, prove it.
Totally fair. He took her shopping as promised. There wasn't much room for stocking up, but he did get her enough to get her through a fortnight or so. He hired a cleaning service to go there this week. He got her a mattress as hers was moldy, a better crib, linens, all kinds of things to make the place more livable.
Hey, guys.
Yes.
I think it might also be the mom's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm thinking maybe it's
What?
also the mom's fault.
I thought we knew it was the mom's fault.
Oh, I was saying it could have been, well,
It was absolutely the mom's.
dad's absence, a lack of
No,
stability.
it was
Yeah.
the dad's absence and the mom being awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
The mom has been, we knew the mom has been crazy from
Yeah.
the start.
But- Yeah, good call out. Yeah, it's not the dad literally not being there that caused
No,
everything.
of
It's like him obviously not being there.
It's him not being there and leaving them with the crazy person.
Right.
You know what?
Right.
Hot
See, I
take.
didn't catch that.
Hot takes, but we'll agree on
Well,
it.
I agree with you, Dakota.
There we
I
go.
concur.
There we go.
CPS.
Oh, yes.
Why are we leaving a child in these conditions?
Yeah.
CPS.
Yeah. So Obi says, as for getting to know her, I feel like it didn't go well, but he didn't want to speak badly of his own daughter. He seems so conflicted, he wasn't able to visit the son yet. So Monday, I learned the whole story, and Tuesday, he drops this bombshell on me. He wants to get her out of that situation and away from the mother.
Good,
he
yes.
wants her to come live with us.
Nope. You didn't sign up for that leave. And you know what? Maybe that is what he needs to do for his daughter because he's kind of abandoned her.
Yeah.
But you have to realize, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it's not bad that he wants to take the daughter out and put her in a vastly better environment. His daughter and his granddaughter, crazy to say, But the wife did not sign up for this. Is not the wife's responsibility.
No.
You are dealing with the consequences of your mistakes and actions. OP is not obligated to do that.
Yeah.
Not at all. We have a beautiful flat above the garage. It's fully self-contained, and we do have guest stay up there. It's a decent size and a big step up from what he described. He wants to keep her close rather than renting her an apartment to keep an eye on her. He wants to help her get healthy, go to school, work, all of that good stuff. I think that's a really nice thing that he's trying to do. He wants to start moving on it right away so she can settle in before the baby is born. After sleeping on it, he really wants an answer from me. Yeah, I'm going to need a bit more time.
Yeah, you're being flung, like a lot of stuff is being flung on you right now.
Yeah. They wake up the next day and he's like, so are you gonna agree?
He rolls over. Are you gonna do it?
Are you ready?
Do it?
Are you ready to just say yes and like let her live in our apartment? Is it okay? Are we gonna do this? Huh?
Yeah.
It may be selfish, but I've asked him what my role in this will be. He assured me that my life isn't going to change much, that she will be his responsibility, and that he just might not have as much time to devote to me.
Your life will change.
Your life will change.
Not only will he have less time to devote to you, you're going to have a child in your apartment.
Yeah.
You want it to be child-free. Regardless of whether or not you're caring for the child, if it's a baby, you got to be crying at night for you to wake up more.
Exactly.
There's going to be a lot of like safety things that need to change in the apartment. There's so many things that happen when you have a child in your house.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure of this. It does seem like they have a like upstairs completely separate unit, but still.
I mean, still crying.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's again, it all goes back to the main point of like, she didn't ask for this or sign up for this. She can't bear the burden of your mistakes.
Yeah.
That's not this might be a situation of like, yeah, you don't want her, you want to be able to keep an eye on her. Well, maybe you should have thought of that 18 years ago.
Yeah.
I would be willing to accept some less time from him, but I don't want to play grandma. What do you guys think? Is there any way the situation can work? The more I think about it, the more I honestly can't see life without my husband. He really is my other half. I'm still mad at him for the deceit, but I don't think I could actually ever leave him. Taking on a mother/grandmother role, though, is something I really don't want for myself. I mean, if it's possible to have them living on the same property as me, having a relationship with my husband, but me, would that even work? Or do I just need to suck it up and expand my family? Just really quick before we get into update number 3. No, you don't. This is not your mess, not your responsibility.
I think that OP needs to realize that her husband may be her other half, but this will not go away. He has opened the door to a relationship with his daughter and his son, I think. We haven't really heard much about the son, but he's opened that door and you can't close it. He can't just, I mean, like he could try and back out, but they're still, they are aware of him. They'll probably gonna keep reaching out to him if he stopped.
Yes.
Giving the money. They might harass. Like we don't know what's going to happen, but they're not going to go away. And so you have to kind of make a choice of am I okay with that? Because he's already made his choice.
Do it.
But ladies and gentlemen, we have an update to this much less cute saga.
No.
Okay. Update number 3. So it's been about a month now. We were going to counseling twice a week and we were fighting 100 times more in the past couple of months than the rest of our 13 years together combined. I was quite firm with him about not letting her move in with us and not sending cash. Stand your ground. I thought that we should help in other ways, like helping with baby supplies, tuition, and counseling. He was pretty adamant on getting her close by. We finally agreed that she and the baby could come visit for a week. He wouldn't mention living together to her yet. It would be time to get a feel of if it could work. He used the whole getting her apartment cleaned and painted as a reason. So pregnant her and the baby didn't have to be around chemicals and paint fumes. Okay, that makes sense. Like take her away from the paint.
All right, yeah, we can admit it. It made sense.
It made sense. She was reluctant and insisted she'd be fine, but eventually agreed. The mother stayed with her boyfriend. The flat was all set up for her. We borrowed his brother's old baby stuff and baby-proofed the space. I made it a point to be open-minded and not judgmental because I know this girl has had a rough upbringing. She arrived on the Saturday, a week before the one passed. Husband picked her up from the airport. They came to the main house first. Husband carrying the baby and the suitcase. She hardly mumbled a hi when I greeted her and didn't even look at me. She was looking all over the house with almost a sneer.
Is that another dog?
This whole story has just been about dogs.
Yeah, this is the dog.
Yeah.
Imagine we wake up and the whole thing was a
Dogs.
dream about dogs. Wow.
I keep having dreams about bed bugs and it's frightening.
Oh, you should stop that.
I know, it's scary. And I keep waking up, I'm like checking my bed. Because someone was talking about bed bugs a couple days ago.
What happens in these dreams about bed bugs? Do they like eat you alive or something?
No, there's just bed bugs in my bed.
There's just bugs in your bed.
Yeah.
And then you like wake up and you're like, there's bugs in my bed.
Yeah.
So, now I was showing his daughter around, and while in the kitchen, before I had a chance to offer something, she opens the fridge. I thought that was strange, but I let it go. She asked, "Where's the Coke?" And when I told her we didn't have any, she let out a huge sigh. So my husband told her he wanted to take her shopping to stock the fridge where she is staying, and she said that she was tired and she'll give him a list. After this, she goes to the apartment to rest. Husband runs off to get the list of junk food that she's given him. He gets to come for dinner hours later. I made dinner for us that night. I didn't cook like I would for my husband and myself because we typically eat very healthy, and I know it's not going to be everyone's tastes. I figure you can't go wrong with meat and 3 veg. I was wrong. She looked at the food like I had put roadkill on the table. After much prying about what she prefers, there was a lot of doesn't matter and whatevers. She listed off things like macas.
Macas. Like McDonald's.
Ah.
Like
Macas.
I think they're Australian.
Ah.
That is an Australian thing.
Yeah.
Shout out,
Macas.
Sonny.
Shout out. Like macas, sausage rolls, pies, fish and chips, only to-go foods. Husband offered to get her something, which she accepted. As soon as he left, she said she was going back to her space. I was okay with this. The rest of the week was mostly her being in the apartment. Here are some things that happened. I'm trying my best with just a list to just list the facts unbiased, but it probably won't come out that way. We've been forewarned. Here we go. Screaming baby most nights. So Topi's point, the baby can be heard through the walls. Husband went once to see if he could help, and she had headphones on, laying on bed, and baby was on the crib with a spoiled diaper. Oh. On 2 occasions, the motion lights went on, so I looked outside. A guy went up to her flat. How does she know anyone here? It wasn't the same guy 2 times. So she had 2 strange
separate men
go into the apartment. Oh no.
They're doing something.
Oh no. Husband gets to go for her every meal. I tried again to make something she liked, fried chicken and chips. She ate it, but said KFC was better.
Stop, just letting her have whatever she wants. She's living in your house.
Yeah.
Just be like, okay, if you want to buy yourself, but this is what we're eating tonight.
Yeah.
You can go out and buy yourself something else, but
if I cook for you and you tell me straight up KFC's better, it's the last night you spend in my house, or the last night I spend in your presence.
This is true. This is true. Husband sat down with her to have a serious talk about her future and how he'd help her with schooling and work. She laughed and said, I'm a mother. That is a job, and school isn't going to help me do that. She firmly believes that she has no duty to make a living to support her family, that it's perfectly acceptable to live off the dole, which I think is live off the government support, I believe. She didn't clean up after herself at all. When he went to check on her, food containers were everywhere and it stank of baby poo. Icky. She turned down every attempt to go out and do anything. It was her first time in the city that people come all over the world to see. Sydney.
probably.
Not as good as Brisbane.
I'm just guessing. I
Not
would
as
know.
good.
Melbourne.
Melbourne. Bet.
Melbourne. She left a hamper of dirty clothes outside my front door. The only thing she didn't have in her flat was laundry. I didn't think she'd need it for a week, but she could have asked to use it. I put them back in front of her door unwashed. Never heard more about it. Refused meeting husband's family, so her grandparents, uncle, aunts, cousins, they were really keen to meet her and the baby. She insulted me twice about my lifestyle in the very limited interactions we had, along with a snide remark and not understanding things because I'm not a mother. You would get it. Yeah. I found there's more points. I found husband crying one night after bringing her food. Well, she went home this past weekend. That's the end of our list.
Whoa.
So now the highlight reel of the week is over. The week is over. We're back. She knows there's an open offer to help her get her life on track with schooling, counseling, finding work, etc. She doesn't want any of it. He was most pushing for counseling, hoping that the rest will follow. She thinks it's absolutely ridiculous and won't consider it. She definitely won't be living with us. I'm really happy we did this, at least because we're of one mind about it now. So now the husband is also like, okay, she can't live with us.
Yeah.
Thank God. She went home to a clean house. Not that it'll stay that way. He told her to contact him if she needs anything, but that he's not going to send cash. He will order the things online she needs and send it to her. He had a great time cleaning up the flat, a week's worth of dirty diapers.
Yuck.
Ugh. We've had a good week. I think we can finally move past this with the help of a therapist. We have such a great life, and I was afraid that would come crumbling down. It seems more manageable now. I know there will be more drama to come, though. The son is refusing communication, and by the way, if you would like to scrub your brain clean of this crazy story with 2,000 episodes worth of full stories just like this, go to Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio apps and search OK Storytime.
Do it.
And absolutely binge your ear holes off.
Do it.
Okay?
Freaking do it, man.
But before we get into the end of this story,
What?
first off, wow.
Yowza.
What a
Ay,
saga.
ay.
Ay caramba.
We've had a lot of yowzas today.
It's a good
Yeah.
word.
It's been a day of yowza.
It's been a yowza day,
Yes.
It's just a yowza,
quite frankly.
yowza Wednesday.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I am like, it seems like OP really doesn't want to lose this dream life she's built with her husband.
But it's just like, it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's been built on this lie, and he's trying to go back and fix this lie 13 years too late,
Yeah.
and thinking that he can throw money at stuff and it'll be fine. But it won't be. And they're not going to go away. And you think that everything's going to return to normal, but I don't know. It's changed.
Yeah.
And you can't unchange it.
This is true. What do we do about baby?
I'd maybe consider getting the
16
baby
years
out of
too late.
there.
And what'd you say?
I'd say I think you got to get the baby out of there now. That sounded real
That's what I'm
bad.
saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Sounded like she's
saying.
not taking care of the baby.
She doesn't know how to take care of this child. I like, in some manner, you have to get the baby out of there.
Yeah, I would get maybe, especially because it sounds like he has the funds to, I would get a like lawyer specializing in like CPS child law and start to understand like what does it look like? What does that process look like? And again, back to Dakota's mention from the very beginning of this whole story, you got your chance at redemption. You could raise the babies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not that that'll never erase what you've done, but at least you'll be giving these kids a better life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's get into the finale of the story, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo!
I know a lot of people think I shouldn't forgive the lies, but I've decided to not let the one, although huge mistake he made outweigh all the wonderful things he does every day.
13-year mistake?
I would say it is more than one mistake.
He lied to you for the whole time?
Yeah, I would count every day that the lie stood as a mistake day.
Yes.
So 13 years worth of mistakes.
There we
Yeah.
go. That's I think I agree.
But hey, some people are forgiving, I guess.
Some people be forgiven. Thanks again to everyone that followed me through this. When she did say something really rude, it helped me to not get too angry by thinking, what will Reddit think of this one?
Yeah.
Edit. All right, it's time for me to close up this throwaway account. There were a lot of kind, supportive comments and a lot of harsh but needed advice, but the mean comments on my character are getting to me. I honestly did things to the best of my ability and I don't see the point of lying and saying it was a lovely visit. I believe my actions were good, even if perhaps my words weren't. However, what I said here didn't have any impact on anyone involved in the situation. I guess I don't have thick enough skin for the internet, but lesson learned. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
And
oh, man.
That's the end of that story, Sophia.
But we have one more story.
We have one more story.
I suspect my husband having an affair with my friend, so I told her husband about it.
Ooh, it's getting juicy in here.
My husband and I have had our ups and downs throughout our relationship of 12 years, but we have always stuck together and helped raise each other up when we are down. We have a mutual friend, let's call her Jade, who is married to my husband's friend, who we'll call Fred. By the way, this comes from Crappy Friend Throwaway, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So a few years ago, my husband and I went through a really rough patch where we were separated for a few months. During that time, we were able to work out our differences, and he moved back home. Things were a lot better than before with the split, but we still had our ups and downs. During that time, I confided in two of my close friends, Jade and Mary. Jade was always pretty quiet about the whole thing. I see you. Which I assumed was due to the fact that she and her husband Fred were also friends with my husband. Mary was quite vocal, which is how her personality is. She has no filter and tells me how it is, whether you want to hear it or not. After my husband had moved back home, I noticed that Jade acted oddly around him. She would turn red or act slightly flirtatious.
No.
My husband never reciprocated or even seemed to notice, so I assumed it was all in my head. About a year ago, Jade and Fred separated, and Jade moved into a house in my neighborhood.
Dude, she's moving it. She's encroaching on your territory.
I thought this was odd because Jade and Fred lived about an hour away. That is odd. During this time, Jade would always call my husband and ask him to do favors for her, to come and help move some boxes.
Move boxes? That's what we're calling it now?
Or do
That's what we've been calling it for a while now.
or do some minor home repairs.
Yeah, your home's getting repaired.
Yeah, some holes need to be fixed.
No big deal, right? He was the only male she knew in the general area, but I noticed her odd behavior seemed to increase. Her conversations with him on social media increased tenfold, and the frequency in which she texted me dropped. Also, her flirting seemed to increase. One day, Mary was over at my house, and we were hanging out, and Jade stopped by. Us three girls were in the living room talking, and my husband came in the room for something. I don't remember why now, but Jade's whole demeanor changed. She sat up straight, sort of fixed her hair a little bit and all that. I noticed, but again, I thought I was being paranoid. Jade left not much later. After Jade left, Mary turned to me and said, Jade acts so weird around him. If I didn't know any better, I'd say she had a crush on him.
But you do know better.
I was shocked that someone else had noticed. I confided in Mary that I had been noticing strange behavior from Jade for a long time, but my husband seemed to be totally clueless. We had a conversation about it, and I felt better knowing it wasn't all in my head. I did not feel threatened by her advances or question my husband's relationship with her in any way. Later that night, jokingly, I mentioned to my husband what Mary and I discussed. He seemed shocked and thought the whole thing was ridiculous. He did concede it was strange that all of the places Jade would have moved during her split from Fred, she chose our neighborhood.
Yeah, because she wants to unsplit with your husband. Wants to split her legs for your husband.
Thank you. Thank you. You read my mind. He denied having an inappropriate relationship with Jade, and I believed him. We joked about the absurdity of the whole situation. Fast forward a year, and Jade is back with Fred. And Jade's friendship with my husband has seemed to grow stronger.
No, girl, you gotta
pick one. They talk online a lot, text each other quite frequently. I never accused my husband of having an affair, but their relationship did cause me to raise my eyebrows. Jade rarely speaks to me anymore, and my husband rarely speaks of Jade. Now I'm about to admit something I'm not proud of, but my curiosity was getting the better of me. So, I checked my husband's private messages on the social media site in which they talk. There were a lot of messages, mostly from his friends and a few from me, but none from Jade. Dating back over a year, Edit to clarify, the messages were threads, so even if I don't message him for 3 weeks, it will show up in a single thread with my old messages. I felt like a terrible person, but breathed a sigh of relief. Sort of. I still had a nagging feeling, so I checked his email. I know, I'm a crappy person for doing this. He had an email from the social media site saying he had received a private message from Jade the previous night at 11:30 p.m. The message just said, "You awake?" But I had just looked at his private messages and there wasn't one from Jade. He deleted it.
Dang.
He kept all the others but deleted the one from Jade, or many since the messages are in threads and he deleted the thread. How peculiar. My relationship with my husband is currently in one of our rough patches. We go through waves, but we are always able to make it work because we are in love. But this time, it's different. Rather than discussing our problems, my husband has started saying things like, "We are too different to make this work."
Whoa.
We have
So
very
he's-
different personalities.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
he's logged. I was just gonna say he's logged out of the relationship too.
Dang. But it has always been one of our favorite things about our marriage. He's able to pick up in areas which I'm lacking, and vice versa. I was completely shocked to hear him say this. He has mentioned having problems with my personality that he's never once in 12 years had a problem with. Probably because he's with someone else that has a similar personality to him. Every trait is picking out are things that he has in common with Jade. I freaking called that. For example, I don't drink or go out. Jade does. I don't like the same music as him. Jade does. Little things like that. I asked him if he wanted to move out, and he started panicking, saying he didn't know what he wants. Basically, he's acting like he doesn't know who to decide between. Of course, this is all speculation. That's why I'm here. If I ask either one of them if there's something going on between them, of course, they will deny it. If I ask Fred if Jade has been acting oddly lately, I will seem like a crazy person. I don't know how to find out what's going on. How do I find out whether or not they're having an affair? Can I? Edit. I checked our phone records online, and while my husband and I are having a very tense and heated text conversation today, he was also texting back and forth with a number that I do not recognize. I typed it into my phone, but I don't have a contact for that number, so it might not be Jade. I might say because Fred is very wealthy, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jade has 2 phones. As I was leaving work, I called Mary and asked her to call the number and ask who it was, to pretend she had the wrong number. She did, and said that there was no answer, and the voicemail message was a generic one with no name. I'm going to do some detective work tonight, and I will update if I come across anything. Edit 4. I just remember Fred has an iPhone genius, so Jade would likely know better than to do anything unsavory on her iPhone because Fred would find out. I'm leaning towards her having a second phone, but again, no proof. I know most are convinced he is having an affair, and while I feel better knowing I'm not crazy for thinking this, it absolutely sucks. But I don't feel like I have enough to find proof yet. I need concrete evidence. Edit 2. We work opposite shifts. He's home alone all day. Jade lives an hour away but doesn't work, so she has the time to make the drive. I'm thinking of setting up a nanny cam. Any suggestions on which one? She's getting down. She's getting into it.
Things are happening, man.
Things are
She's
in motion.
cooking.
Edit 3, Mary has a friend that runs a business and pays for background check services, so she's going to see if she can find out whose number he was texting today.
Ooh.
Update. So yesterday I tracked my husband with GPS and watched where he was going during the day. When I saw he was in a car traveling fast down a road out of town, I casually texted him and asked what he was up to. He said he was walking to the store, which was in the opposite direction of where he was headed.
Maybe he was going to a far store.
I watched him all day, stopping here and there, going out to eat with her, traveling all over the place. I would periodically text him to make conversation, and he would lie the entire time. At one point, he said he was just walking around the neighborhood thinking about us.
Dude, he keeps telling you that he's not like, he's like, I don't know if this relationship works. I'm thinking about us. This man wants to break up with you.
My blood was boiling. I knew he was with someone who had an iPhone because there were no calls or texts made that morning. So he must have communicated via iMessage. Jade has an iPhone, and I highly suspect he was with her, but I had no proof. After she was dropped off at home, he texted me saying he was sorry for being distant today. He was doing a lot of thinking. I didn't tell him I knew he was lying the whole day because I had planned to gather more evidence. Later in the evening, I couldn't take it anymore. I asked him where he was all day. And he said, what do you mean? I told you I was walking around. In my rage, I say, I know you were lying. I know where you've been. He admitted to spending a little time with Jade, that they went and grabbed something to eat. I told him I knew about everywhere he went, and I knew about the late night phone calls while I was watching him yesterday. I checked the phone records and saw an unbelievably amount of phone calls going back and forth between them. Why are you calling back and forth so many times? You go one call and you're good. I don't know why I didn't think to check the call records on Monday. I knew about the secret private messages on social media. I knew about it all. He confessed that he and Jade had gotten really close and spent a lot of time together, talking. At first, he said it was innocent. I told him if it was innocent, he wouldn't be lying and sneaking around. He agreed and admitted he knew what he was doing was wrong. By the way, you can do no wrong if you go to your favorite podcast platform, search up OK Storytime, and listen to us 24/7. We got 50 days right there for you. Just check us out. I texted Fred last night and told him everything I knew.
Wait!
Going straight to the source.
Finally.
He said he had been uncomfortable with their relationship for a while, but didn't know if I was or if I even knew. We talked for a while, but I don't know what they're going to do. All I know is I am getting a divorce. My husband claims the relationship was never physical, but I can never trust him again. No matter what he does or where he goes, I will always question who he is with and if he is lying to me. I cannot and will not spend my life tracking my husband and making sure he's where he needs to be and where he says he is, and isn't sneaking around with other women. I deleted and blocked Jade off all my social media accounts. I didn't text her or say anything to her. I know if I even tried, I would end up saying some pretty foul stuff to her, which she deserves, but I'm better than that. So not only did I lose an extremely crappy friend in this whole thing, I'm losing my best friend, the love of my life, and the father of my children. I am destroyed. She didn't even say she had kids. Oh,
Ooh.
my God. Yeah, that is the end of that one.
Icky.
Our granddaughter is having a destination wedding, but my husband isn't doing anything to have a passport. We got to send him over there. Take a bowl. Been married to my second husband for 27 years. He has 2 kids who I really like and get along with. Our daughter has 4 daughters who are a bit spoiled. That's a lot of that's a lot
too
of
many daughters to spoil.
that's a lot of calves. That's a lot of calves.
That's a lot of cattle.
I made sure to give the granddaughters nice presents for their graduation gifts, and I've always been the nice step grandma who's pretty much ignored by the grandkids. My husband does 0 work on any gift giving or travel arranging when they have attended any of their events. That's left up to me. By the way,
That's a red flag. That's a
red flag?
Is that not a red flag? Yeah, not giving any like presents or anything.
no travel arrangements whatsoever. Whoa, wait a second. Are you seeing what we're seeing right now? Honestly, we're about to get the red flag on these platforms because that is spicy bull riding if I have ever seen it in my
I feel
life.
like I'm getting it. I feel like getting it.
By the way, this comes from Far Cup 9063. If you want to send your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddits. So, you ready for the rest of this story, Sammy? How you doing?
I'm ready.
All right.
riding with you, John.
We attended the weddings of the first 2 granddaughters, both of which are 3 hours away. I attended the trip, bought and wrapped the gifts, and bought the cards. We attended the event, and I was again the nice step grandma who was pretty much ignored by the grandkids. About 4 months ago, we received a save the date card letting us know that the 3rd granddaughter will be getting married in another country in mid-2025. A lot of granddaughters, a lot of them are getting married.
Granddaughters, a lot of weddings. That's expensive.
Oh, yeah. Now, I have a passport, but my husband does not. I told him we'll need to get a passport to attend this. But guess what, Sam?
What?
He's done nothing.
He's done of course. I mean, he's dead weight.
That's
He's
right.
married to this guy. This guy's
He's So, a few weeks ago, I asked if he really wanted to go to this wedding, and he said yes. I went online to see what he needed to get that passport. One item was the date of the divorce from his previous wife. So, I had been looking at airline flights and tickets that would have cost around $2,000 for the both of us. The hotel is $1,000 in all-inclusive place, so $3,000 total. The invite for the wedding is taped on the front of the fridge, and I am not going to bring this up again. We're at the last straw. I will let him know that if he actually gets off his butt and gets his passport, I will make travel arrangements. Before we get into this edit, Sam, do we go ahead and divorce the husband or not? Do we buck him off marriage row here?
I don't think we buck him off yet.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that he's not investing at all in the relationship means like there's bigger problems underneath the surface.
You know what? That's a great point.
Yeah. And so I think it's a red flag for sure.
I forgot to mention that the wedding is on a Wednesday. Can you believe that?
I cannot. That's hump day.
That
And I'm home
means
for sure.
that means that we would have to fly out Tuesday and fly back Thursday. I cannot believe she chose Wednesday
Oh my
for
God.
her wedding day, an international wedding on a Wednesday. That is low-key very crazy.
Let's hit it. Let's hit it.
Let's get back
Let's
into
get back
it.
into this story.
So, edit/update. Hey everyone, thanks for all the interesting comments. As you can tell, there's a more going on than just the wedding. I will be sure to post an update when he completely fails to do anything to go to the wedding, and therefore we don't go. Comments, some relevant comments. Tell the relevant daughter, that the one getting married, that her dad doesn't have a passport, and at present he decided not to apply for one. You just want to give her a heads up so she's aware of the situation. True. As you wouldn't like her daughter to be disappointed. You tried to help him fill out the forms, but when it got to the divorce date bit, he just decided that he just wasn't going to continue. If you don't have a relationship with her, then to be honest, not your problem, not your monkey's. He's not a baby or severely disabled, ergo he has to apply for his own passport. Okay?
Yeah, do it yourself. Come on.
Do it. Also, I don't know what the laws are where you are, lol, but have you seen proof that he's divorced? Is he actually divorced yet? Is that why he doesn't want to dive into this whole divorce date issue?
No way.
Because, fine, I have no idea what date my divorce went through, but I do have the printed out paperwork in my drawer and I just look it up. That does seem like a very, very easy thing to
Wait,
find.
really quick. So,
Yes, sir.
so who is maybe not divorced?
There's Opie and her husband, right? He had a past marriage, a past divorce. When they were going in the process to, get the passport so he can make it to his daughter's wedding, he gets to the point where it says fill in your divorce date, part of all of the legal paperwork. He's like, oh, I'm not doing it.
So he may not be divorced. He might just be like separated or something.
And he doesn't want OP to find out. So he's just like, it's too much. It's not worth it. I'm whatever.
Oh, wow. This is uncovering some intrigue. That's for sure.
Which is also crazy. Like, do the daughters know? The daughter that's getting married, does she know?
I mean, they're definitely separated, but it's weird.
It
It's
opens
weird.
up a lot of stuff. So this is some bizarre avoidance, lol, and it would give me the willies, not gonna lie. Comment number 2 says, what I don't understand is why you are bending over backwards for kids who don't appreciate you and a husband who is too lazy to appreciate his own children. Big facts. Nobody else cares. Why should you? Time to drop everything else and focus on finding a backbone.
Yeah, make that backbone no longer a noodle.
Oh yeah.
Make it strong.
To which OP replies, haha, yeah, I have a backbone, but I also have
A huge heart on.
huge heart for my husband. Had to put a hat over heart. It's a customary protocol over here. I have no problem telling others to F off, and I've always been tough. I think this is the turning point where I am totally done making any arrangements to make things easier on him. And we do have a big, juicy update. We're not even halfway through
Big
the
and
story.
juicy. I feel like
he
it's
actually divorced?
incredibly suspicious.
Because,
I
like,
think it's incredibly suspicious.
why would he stop? This is literally his own daughter. Granted, he's had 3 other daughters who have already been married, but this is it's still your daughter's wedding. Like, you're not missing that.
You can't miss. And also, if you went to all the other daughters' weddings and just like red flag on red flags.
Yeah. Something is fishy here. If it's not that, it's something else, and it's not good. To all of you who commented before, thanks. This is the update, and I know I'm setting myself up to get knocked about, but this is Reddit after all. So, some couple points. I saw the divorce decree from his prior wife, so he is indeed divorced, and he and I are legally married.
Okay.
I didn't even think about that, so that, like, what would their marriage would have meant, but
It would have been annulled. Yeah, it would have been, yeah.
since that post, I have told him he needs to engage in the cleaning and taking care of things around the house. He is now responsible for one bathroom and I'm responsible for the other. He actually pointed out a cleaning method to me and I said, great, do whatever you like. He has been frustrated by the new order around here and continues to do as little as possible. I have tried to remain cheerful and positive. His daughter called to confirm we are coming. He said, of course, and later asked me, we are going, right? I said, when you get your passport, I will make the reservations. He looked dumbstruck. I told him the application has been sitting right where I told him it was, and he denied ever hearing me saying that. He started working on the application. He then asked me if he had a birth certificate. I told him, I assume so because you were born. He asked where it was, and I told him, I have no idea. Figure it out. He was getting frustrated. I went and fetched it from the files and angrily told him, here it is, and you can take care of this from now on. Yes, I spoke angrily. Yes, I slammed it on the table. He flipped out and threw a plastic bottle of salad dressing into the kitchen, and it broke and splattered all over the cabinets.
Man, he just gets worse and worse.
You are you know what?
It's a red flag. Red flag right here.
And it's no wonder you have a birth certificate because you are definitely a baby.
You're a big old
You were
baby.
born and you just stayed
a
that way.
baby.
Wow. Like the mature adults we are, the rest of the day we spent in silence. I went into my office and he was again glued to the dang political news on the TV, just like he has been for years. He eventually cleaned up the mess in the kitchen. Do I smell a second divorce in the making?
It smells good. It smells good.
Smells delicious.
Smell like a little divorce.
So I refused to cook for him. Will not do any of his laundry. I had just changed the sheets on the bed and I bet they are still there this time next year. I take up residence in the extra bedroom and my office, which are on one side of the house. Dude, it's just getting worse. I am not sure what will come of this, but I wish the divorce from his prior wife had never been finalized. I would have now been free. Financially, we are kind of stuck together, but I will work towards getting unstuck.
Oh, so OP maybe is getting ready to sign those divorce papers.
She's plotting.
She's plotting.
She's scheming.
Yeah.
Papers.
And she's trying to make it happen.
She's just riding the bull until she can get off gracefully.
Oh, God. But we got some relevant comments. Commenter number 1, I assume so because you were born perfect. Update me about if he gets it together in time to get his passport. I think someone mentioned in your previous post or something about maybe telling the bride that he hasn't gotten his passport. If you're on decent terms with her, you might want to mention it to her anyways. If nothing else, her getting him on might jumpstart him more than anything you do. Other than that, I wouldn't do anything. Good luck. Enjoy your trip with or without him. To which OP replies, the bride has been informed of the situation because his daughter texted me later and I filter in about the actual obstacle. She and I are on great terms, love her, and I told her no matter what happens, I will get the bride a beautiful gift.
That's nice.
Yeah, so at least they have a connection.
Yeah.
Unlike her and
good old
father.
Poppy. Yeah.
Golly. Another reply, you should go even if he is left home due to his own stupidity. That would be...
He misses his own daughter's wedding while you go.
Yeah.
Kind of like sweet justice almost, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And we have update number 2, the final update.
The final countdown. I mean, I think if I had a prediction,
Yes,
it would be that she divorces him. She goes to the wedding. He is alone at home and all of his children hate him. That's my prediction.
I think that's where we're headed.
And maybe justified for being such a booby hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No wonder he got the first divorce. He's about to get the second.
About to get the second.
Update number 2. Again, I want to thank all of you who posted with helpful comments. They really helped me work through these issues, and we have made positive progress on so many fronts. He obtained all the necessary information for the passport application and completed it.
Oh, he turned around. He did one thing.
He's done one thing.
He's done one thing.
He's filled out a form.
Yeah. I mean,
Those forms are annoying.
Forms are annoying, but like he's done the least. He's done the least. He's no good.
He did ask for my assistance setting up an appointment at the post office to have his picture taken and submit his application. It had to be done online, and doing anything through their website is wonky, so we are going to the post office this morning. I don't like that. I would have been like, hey, just do this one thing on your own. He treats her like his assistant. Come on, bro. Come on.
Yeah. And I mean, he's just also a bad boss too.
Dude.
He's treating her assistant and he's just terrible.
By the way, you know what's not the worst on every front is the best on every front?
What?
On Apple, Spotify, your favorite podcast apps. We have full episodes with stories just like this. Thousands of them. Thousands.
Literally thousands.
So go there, put in OK Story Time, and listen to your heart's content. But let's get into the last part of the story. We've also had some polite, mature discussions about him doing his laundry, which he has done, and that we need to equally share the workload of the house. He had to do the grocery shopping by himself last week because I refused to go. I like it. He managed to wash a load of whites, even used bleach without destroying any clothes. Look at him. He's getting there.
Wow. He's done the bare minimum.
He's done 2 things.
Congrats.
Wow. He has been doing the dishes and made loaded nachos for us this weekend. Granted, it's still not 50-50 yet, but I believe we will get there. So, as soon as I'm done with this update, I'm going to make our resort and plane reservations. Looks like it's a go. I'm going to text his daughter that it actually looks like we're going to be able to go out and celebrate with everyone.
OP has too much faith.
OP has too much faith.
Too much faith.
I also OP's kind of flip-flop. She was like, I'm going to prepare everything so I can get financially unstuck. She was literally, preparing to separate your finances is a huge undergoing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seemed like she was preparing to separate fully.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, even if it's just the finances, but when you're doing that, you're not doing it for kicks and giggles.
Yeah.
Well, we got some relevant comments.
Okay.
Comment number 1, great work. However, I strongly advise you being wary of any backsliding. Not one thing. Another commenter says this, and remember, he could have done all of this at any time. He knew how. He simply chose not to because it made things easier for him, and that was more important than how you felt or how it affected your life. And that is the end of that story.
You know what that story makes me feel like?
What does it make you feel like?
It makes
Tim?
me feel like we just went in a circle. You know, it's like there was about to be this moment of, oh, she's going to do it. She's going to get out of this situation where this guy is literally doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's just like, oh, you did the laundry.
That's enough, right?
Did the laundry.
Not like I literally do everything else and you treat me like a maid.
He literally threw and broke something at her.
Yes.
Do we not remember that? Are we just going to ignore that?
We
She was
shouldn't.
about to not go to one of his daughter's weddings.
Could any of us here imagine ever throwing a bottle of dressing because
No.
they were frustrated in an argument with
No.
their partner?
Never. That's crazy.
Literally never.
That is for sure at least serious talk, but like, you know, that people end relationships over that.
Yeah, I think that this should be a case of like you need some sort of like maybe it's like a anger management like therapy plus
Jesus.
like an anger management person specifically, and then going from there and maybe even being clued in with the therapist or something. But
I hope OP eventually sees the light.
My husband wants an easy out of our marriage to be with his best friend.
Classic. The pipeline needs to be studied.
I met my mate at a Renaissance fair about 6 years ago. At the time, I was newly divorced from a very complicated man, and I was not looking for any relationship, but that's how the story goes. You meet someone when you least expect it. By the way, this comes from WIBTAH7857, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, he was much bolder than me. He sat down next to me, sparked up a conversation, and the chemistry was just there. We hung out the entire weekend, and it felt nice, but I never dreamed I would see him again. Seeing as I was the older woman, I am 10 years his senior. But he had other plans, and within a year, he had me saying vows. Wow! Within a year?
Within a year.
You gotta go to the Renaissance Fair, Dakota. Everyone knows the Renaissance Fair is top 10 horniest places. I did mention the chemistry, yes. So we tied the knot 5 years ago. During that time, he has bonded well with my child, has stood up to my ex and made it clear the mental abuse stops, has provided emotionally, financially, and through safety. Literally what I was searching for. And we are happy. When we disagree, we talk about it as we do not raise voices in our home. We budget in small trips to see more than just one spot of the earth. When one of us is having a bad day, the other spoils them. We learned one another's love language and respect it. Genuinely happy. But rewind to when we met. The first person he told was his best friend, who happens to be female. She was engaged to another man at the time and freaked out, telling my mate that he needed to not be in a serious relationship and wait for her. What?
Wait for me.
Blink, blink. He told her to accept this or get out of his life. That's a good.
Hey,
that's good.
Hey, not me leaving immediately, huh? Not me saying, here's my little briefcase.
Bye.
Hey, here's my suitcase. I'm leaving.
Fast forward a year later, she blocks us after telling him he made the biggest mistake of his life. I cannot even describe the hurt. They were friends most their lives, and to have someone not be supportive of a mate choice, painful. Still, he made the choice to accept her cutting him off instead of going to her house to talk sense into her, and he married. Now my husband travels too much for work, and while his job provides much security, it does require him to be on the other side of the planet a lot. And while I will not flat out say what he does, his job does require uniforms.
Oh, so
He works at a Menchie's.
He works at the laboratory.
Interestingly enough, every time he leaves, this best friend is tipped off about him going. Not by me, not by him, but by my mother-in-law. What does she have against me? Simple. I'm infertile. This happened after I birthed one child. So her devious plan is to have this best friend call and check in on the status of our marriage. Ew. He had shut her down on it every time while still trying to rekindle the friendship. She would hang out online with him while he was traveling and disappear when he came home. Make no mistake, this best friend is a threat. She must be cast out. And yes, I have made my caution clear to my husband, who told me that I do not have to trust her, but I do need to trust him. So this goes on throughout our marriage until the holidays. Ready for it? I had to have surgery that required a major amount of bed rest, so I could not travel the distance to see my in-laws, and they never come to see us. My husband gets told last minute the original people who were meant to go to the other side of the world could not go, and he and his coworkers have to replace them. So he clearly wants to see his family before he leaves. Fair. So with a heavy heart, my child is sent to his biological father's for the holidays, and my husband spends the morning of Christmas with me and leaves after watching several movies and making sure I am comfortable to spend time with them for 36 hours. Unbeknownst to us, the mother-in-law had invited the best friend in my stead. And my husband walked into a tear fest of 36 hours of best friend pleading with him to change his mind about me and date her. If this is not surprising enough, she adds that she always chooses the wrong man and was recently abused and needs someone safe. She needs him. Sorry. Hold on. This is the best friend? This is the OP's partner's best friend?
Is this the same person who was like, blocked? You've made the biggest mistake of your life.
You've made the biggest mistake in your life.
Fast forward. Hi, I'm back after making the biggest mistake of my life. Can you please come back?
What? Who is this girl? Leave them alone.
Don't know about that. Don't know about that.
Then she proceeds to confess her love to him, tells him she did not try hard enough and that she wants his babies. If I had a friend like this, I'd block them. Like actively trying to ruin your life or your marriage.
Get out of here.
And my mother-in-law is there telling him how he needs to be with her and not me because she's his age and they have both always loved one another. 36 hours of this.
John, you've been dancing a lot.
I'm going to give you a live demonstration and you're going to see it too.
Show me those hips. Oh, damn. That is a good move. But you know what is also an amazing move?
What is that, Sam?
Becoming an OK Storytime member.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
And it's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Well, let's get back to the story.
When he comes back from this, he is not himself. Now, due to my husband's job being dangerous, he tends to emotionally distance himself before he leaves in case he never comes home. It took me a day of asking if he's all right and offering an ear before he said the curliest thing to me. The curliest thing?
Maybe that was a misspelling of cruel.
Oh, he said the curliest thing to me.
Just someone who like really has it out for people with curly hair.
The curliest thing to me. Sorry, he said the cruelest thing to me. He tells me that he has not loved me for an entire year and that he fell out of love and was trying to fall back in, but just couldn't. He then tells me he wants his own kids and that our son is more like a brother than a son.
Wow.
I thought we were supposed to freaking trust you, dude.
Wow, dude.
You're the worst.
A lot of times we're like, clear communication is great, but you should have probably worked that one out in therapy first and then figured out how to say it right because that was bad. That was bad.
I cannot explain the emotional floor drop here. The pain was almost too much, not only for me, but my son, who has already been through something like this and trusts his stepfather more than he trusts his own dad. And then my child and I cried BS. It took days of me carefully confronting him and backing off before he finally admitted that he said all of those things so I would divorce him, and he meant none of it. He has told my kid he is and will always be his father and my kid, while angry told him he never thought otherwise. Husband also said he is now torn between me and the best friend and does not know what to do. I told him to get on a plane and think it through on his own before he blows up a happy family for a fantasy. She is furious with him because she is not a homewrecker and needs him to make the choice to leave me on his own, and it needs to be done already. Girl, what do you mean you're not a homewrecker? You're actively wrecking the home. I am simply hurt, but I am not giving up on us because two witches decided they want him to be with someone else. This is his life and his choice. He told me he hates me for not making it easy. What?
This guy.
Who is this guy?
You know what this guy is? The coolest guy in town on opposite day.
Yeah. And I told him that if he really wanted this, he had to man up and make the decision to make it all final. I was not filing for divorce. He had to. Now, I know I'm going to get slack here, but I promise you I told him I was infertile within an hour of talking to him. I reminded him that when he proposed, I lost my mind over it when we were about to get married. This is a topic that has been well discussed between us. He knows that I cannot personally have a child. Not that I am not up for raising another child. Believe me, I have offered. But he has always declined, telling me he is not interested. He does not want kids except for my kid, whom he loves deeply. And I love you guys when you listen to full episodes of stories just like this.
That's right.
Just go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.
You can actually you can get it on YouTube as well.
There's a little bit more to this story, so we're just gonna Now my mother-in-law is losing her mind. She has called me an a-hole for trapping her son in a loveless marriage and told me I need to stop using him. I am gainfully employed and am financially head of the household. I need to get out of his life and let him be with someone who really loves him. He does not want me anymore, so I should leave. So am I the a-hole for fighting for a loving marriage that clearly needs to be mended after outside sources tore it apart? Or should I just cut my losses and say, well, if you can't decide between me and her, I'm out? Remember, there is a kid involved here. And yes, I know my self-worth, but I also know that as a family, we smile every single day. That's worth something too, right? And there are some comments.
On a very real, not funny level, it's like when you're, what I've heard as someone who's never been married, but is familiar with the concept, like, when you're married for a long time, it's like everything isn't just peaches and cream all the time. You know, it's like people hit peaks and people hit valleys in the context of the relationship at different points. So it's like your husband might not be like falling into the valley and you might not be in one. But it's like, that's why, counseling and therapy can be a powerful resource. It's like, just because someone's like, I kind of feel like we've lost the spark for a year. Like, it's not necessarily like, all right, then it has to be over. It's like, the reality is that if you're going to be with somebody for literally the rest of your life, that's probably going to happen.
Absolutely. But I do think that it's a little different here because Opie's partner didn't just lose the spark. They started thinking about someone else and then are actively considering leaving OP and almost for someone else. So that's emotional cheating.
Yeah, when infidelity becomes involved, however.
Comment 1, he's cheating on you already. He went home and found his ex there and didn't turn around and leave. He spent 36 hours with her and came home wanting to break up, and he's not emotionally distancing himself before traveling for work because it's dangerous. He's meeting her. His work might well be dangerous and involve, travel, but guaranteed she's meeting him where he goes. He's tipping her off himself. If you insist on staying, think about the effect on your son, who now knows that his stepfather doesn't view him as a son. OP says, normally I would agree with your assumptions, but the security of where he is does not allow the average person to enter the area. You need clearance that she does not have. He went home to his partner's house to see his entire family, including his brother, so her being there, while uncomfortable, was not a reason to turn around. He has the right to talk to a friend of his, he has the right to spend time with his family, and he has the right to try his best to shut down them all when he does not like the topic of conversation. I was not there, but I am certain that it took a lot to get through his defenses. I trust him that much. And him coming home after 36 hours and being a brat that I don't recognize, yeah, I don't make rash choices like that. I dug and got the truth. But is it the truth? Is it really the truth?
But is it the truth?
Perhaps you dug too far and found a lie.
The dwarves dug too greedily and too deep.
You
know what they awoke in those minds.
Him telling me he's torn hurts like heck, but he and his brothers swear he's done nothing, just talk. And people have the right to step back and think, hey, do I want this or that for the rest of my life? Sure, but he's actively emotionally cheating on you. Girly
Pop.
I like the girls that don't do this.
Girly.
I like the girls that give hugs.
Girls that get divorced.
In the back of the club. Girls who really don't like this guy.
I like girls who like hugs. Girls who like pugs.
My issue is, do I want someone who stops and questions what we have out of the dang blue? It hurts, but this is a 3-person family, and I feel like the a-hole for making him make the move to legally end us. And that is the end of the freaking story, folks.
Divorce!
My sister-in-law pretends to like me, but is secretly ruining my reputation.
He's like,
So, I, female 26, just got married to my best friend / soulmate, male 33, and I couldn't be happier. Marriage has just been amazing. I don't know how else to properly describe it. Words don't really do it justice. By the way, this comes from user Sarcy, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, his family, for the most part, are lovely people. His mom is basically the mom I never had. I have a very strained, distant relationship with mine due to her beliefs and our disagreements of lifestyle choices. I still love her deep down, but I've already grieved the relationship / had some therapy sessions around it, and it is what it is. I do have a great relationship with an aunt who is like a second mom, though.
Let's go.
Yes. He has a sister-in-law, don't know exact age, but let's say late 30s. That is everything I'm not. She's very into designer clothes, heavy makeup, Botox, always has nails so long, so I'm not sure how she goes to the bathroom, never wears proper shoes for the weather, and is very talkative, has to be the center of attention. I used to tolerate her for family dinners just fine. She's very different, which I found entertaining, and I do love to hear a different perspective on politics and etc. I also kind of love the fact that she had to always be the center of attention because I do not enjoy that. It starts to get weird when she actively doesn't like me for reasons I don't know and makes it very known. She's forgotten to invite my husband and me to at least 3 dinners we know about. One was her son's birthday party, so we looked extra terrible, but told everyone we were coming, making it look bad on our part. I would have been fine if she just didn't invite us for whatever reason, especially if she didn't want too many people there during the vid. But telling people we were coming is shady. Whenever she does come over to our house for dinner, she doesn't even say hi to me anymore and never offers to help clean up. She expects me or others to play with her kid, who is one of my favorite kids ever, but I, who doesn't have kids yet, I'm not used to entertaining them while trying to cook and host dinner at the same time. My husband and I usually take turns entertaining him, again, sister-in-law's child, unless others are there, which is a nice change of pace and good practice since we want to have kids someday. We've offered to babysit the boy multiple times, but only have done it once as a last resort because she doesn't like when we babysit for no good reason.
What?
What? You're helping out and you enjoy the kid. I don't understand.
The kind of person who's like, you're just offering to babysit because you think I can't parent properly.
I guarantee you that's what it is. But let's keep going. She also almost never helps out when our mother-in-law makes dinner or has us over for a meal, so I usually end up feeling bad and helping her out. Good on you. It's a big family, and depending on what you're making, it can be difficult to cook dinner entirely yourself unless you really plan ahead. The mother-in-law always offers to help when she's over at both the witch's house and mine, the witch being the sister-in-law. Plus, the mother-in-law's food is delicious, so I try to help along with my husband, so we're invited back for more delicious food. Playing checkers.
Playing the long game.
No, they're playing... You're playing checkers, not chess here. You're playing the easy game. This all changed when my husband's sister came into town. My husband warned me about this, but I didn't know it was this bad. She was super friendly to me, which she never is, and was super involved with her kid. I didn't need to entertain the kid at all this time. She offered to help out with things and was so happy we got married. When we initially told her and her husband we eloped on a whim, she didn't even come out of her house to say congratulations. She just said, "Congrats," in an unimpressed tone inside, while we were outside, and walked away. Could you imagine? Just congrats,
Just
closes
through a
the
screen door.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that's what it is. I feel like whenever you take the center of attention or everyone's giving all their attention to you, OP, she's like, it's her fault.
Just, don't acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Or don't play into the how dare you not congratulate. Just be like, whatever, thank you. Thanks for that heartfelt congratulation.
What I say is just do it with kindness. Just keep doing your thing, be kind, and, because when you make that one wrong move, she will double down on it and make it, blow up in your face.
You just gotta kill him with kindness.
Yep. Also, before we could tell my husband's sister, someone, we know it was her, told her that we already got married. When we specifically asked people, we told not to spread the news until we were able to tell them ourselves. We wanted to explain a few reasons why we eloped, since we did not want to offend anyone. She also just overtook the entire conversation with my husband's sister that he doesn't get to see very often. I felt bad for my husband as he didn't get to spend any decent quality time with her the entire week. This is where it gets super petty. I made a batch of bread using a really easy recipe online the weekend before, while the sister-in-law was over for dinner and her husband really liked it. Uh-oh. You're taking the spotlight. So I told her how easy it was since I always like sharing recipes. She makes a point to make the same exact bread and gift a loaf to her mother-in-law, which she would never do when the sister isn't in town, and pretended like she invented the recipe herself and made it sound like her secret recipe, and it's so hard to make. I know my bread, and I know the exact site the recipe came from. Look at you, OP. You bread maker.
You're like, I know bread. Trust me.
I know the yeast. Then, as I'm helping to clean up after, everyone saw me loading the dishwasher. She audibly goes, "Oh, this is arranged completely wrong. Let me just fix it for you, dear." I just don't respond, and my husband suggested we just sit down. As you could see at this point, I was getting annoyed. I walk into the kitchen later to get a drink and see that the dishwasher is loaded the exact way I loaded it, and she's struggling to turn it on because she's never used it before. She then proceeds to clean the entire kitchen while we played Monopoly since she claimed cleaning was more fun.
Which is
ICU.
honestly fair. Sometimes
I have an ICU.
Sometimes people just hate Monopoly.
Or she's just bad at it.
Those are sometimes the same thing.
Yeah, fair. The best part is she made a point to clean where the sister could see her clean, not the normal parts of the kitchen like the counters. No, she literally cleaned the wall because of how the kitchen is set up where the sister was sitting. I felt bad for my mother-in-law since there was still a bunch of gross food in the sink that wouldn't wash down and the counters were soaked. Note, I've never seen her do anything at my mother-in-law's house before, and depending on the vid regulations, we do up to a couple dinners every month together, usually since we all live in the same town. There's so much more to the dinner. I just highlighted some of the unnecessary snark directed at me specifically. It continued with her fibbing about certain things that happened, saying we were invited to things we weren't, claiming she owns a business, but in reality, her husband does all the actual work for the business while she claims to be an influencer. Maybe I'm wrong with the new Instagram algorithm, but my husband showed me her account. She has 90,000 followers and doesn't get more than 50 likes on a photo, or more than a few hundred views on a video usually, using the max amount of hashtags, so that doesn't add up. They're bots.
Bot.
I guarantee you she flaunts it. She pays for that.
I am robot.
She doesn't do it well. Now, my husband's sister is acting weird towards us, and I can't help but think the sister-in-law was gossiping about me behind my back. It seems as soon as we got engaged, her attitude towards my husband and I completely shifted, and she started to actively dislike us. She was the only sister-in-law in the family, so that could be why she's being so mean towards my husband and I. Also, a funny tidbit is they built a new house and designed the kitchen almost identical to how my husband designed and built our kitchen, but yet claimed it was her design. Ours was built before they designed theirs. How do I deal with this? My husband's sister-in-law isn't going away, and I just want to be able to attend dinners and events, if we even get invited, without me getting in a bad mood every time. And if you want to be in a good mood every time, you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Story. And we have a bit more left. I think what I said earlier is you got to take what's out and, you got to talk to them.
I don't even know.
I would talk to them.
Talk to the sister-in-law?
Yeah. You think just cut off contact?
No. You become unbotherable.
Well, no. You got to have a conversation before. This is like everyone's just staying silent. No one's talking here. You got to be like, hey, I feel like the kitchen thing, that's one thing, whatever.
Well, if you
let
actually,
her, if she wants to just become you, whatever. But
if you actually want someone to have the conversation, it can't be OP. It's going to have to be the brother. She's not going to listen to OP. It has to be someone who she's related to. It's going to have to be her husband.
Yeah.
But
someone needs to talk
honestly,
here.
The question at the end there is, how do I go to these events without having a bad time? You have to treat this woman like a child in your head. Like, it has to be like, not someone you're competing with, not someone who's your equal. It's someone who is like a little 7-year-old, and you just need to not take her seriously.
I think that's one case. And then if she says anything, don't do it. If she says,
of course not.
Oh, I'll do the dishes for you, honey. No, don't do it. I'm
Don't
like,
worry,
I'm about done. I got it. I'm just saying it's an ego thing. I think she's just jealous. She wants to be you or wants what you have. But just do your own thing. My husband suggested I just be as passive-aggressive as she is back to her if I wanted to. But it's just not my personality, and I'd rather unalive her with kindness, that kind of thing. But dang it, it's so hard to ignore the things she says and does. If anyone's dealt with something similar, any advice would be appreciated. I have a feeling it's not going to get better, and it's just going to get much worse once we start having kids and get more integrated into the family. My husband has offered to talk to his mom about this, good, which I really appreciate, as the issue started after we got engaged. I don't think it will really amount to anything, but I do appreciate him standing up for us, mostly me, and doesn't think I'm being insane about what's happening. Other than that, how can I actively not hate being around her? And that's the end of that story.
My ex betrayed me for years. Now he won't let me move on.
Let her move on.
I, 32 female, was married to my ex, Scott, 37 male, for just shy of 8 years. During that time, we had 2 kids, now aged 8 female and 5 male. For some background on mine and Scott's relationship. We met online in July, dated for 3 months before getting engaged in October, and married the following June. By the way, this comes from KK Stylist, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. And reminder, this is directly from our subreddit. From the early stages of the relationship, there was cheating on Scott's part. I stayed, thinking it would get better and wanting to believe he would change. Looking back now, I also think it was partly out of shame for not wanting to go through another failed relationship. We had our daughter 2 years after being married and welcomed our son 3 years after that. During our relationship, we had a back and forth of him cheating, me saying it would be the last time I forgive him, and threatening to leave next
Stop
time.
cheating so much. Also, you should leave.
Yeah.
He doesn't sound like a man that is worth your time.
No. Well, next time came and went, and I never left. Instead, I just found ways to make myself happy. I worked 3 jobs, spent time with friends and family, and as much as I could with the kids. After I got pregnant with my son, we had come to a point in our relationship where I knew I couldn't keep him from cheating, but he knew I wasn't happy. Don't get me wrong, I had my own downfalls, and I also stepped out in our relationship after about 2 years of his infidelity. We both came clean about what I thought were all the secrets and lies and decided to try an open relationship. I personally wanted the don't ask, don't tell version. I was not physically attracted to my partner. I stayed mainly to not tear apart our family and partly out of shame for allowing myself to stick around this long. We had this arrangement for about 3 years. I basically had one outside relationship, as did he. We still had rules within our relationship, one of being to wear protection. Well, he did not do this and ended up getting his side girlfriend pregnant. I didn't sleep or eat for a week, tried to accept this as my fate and partly my fault, and was ready to trudge through the trenches. That lasted about 2 months before I came to my senses and realized I didn't deserve this. Good. And didn't have to live unhappily. So I left, moved into a camper, and we split the kids 50-50.
Okay, that is improvement. That is the first improvement.
Good on you, OP. Fast forward to October, 6 months later, and I didn't waste time getting into the dating world. Not really looking for anything, just kind of having fun building that confidence back. I met some wonderful guys during that time and healed a lot of stuff I'd been holding on to. Well, October rolls around and I meet Austin on Tinder. Now, Austin and I had dated in high school my sophomore year. We were dramatic teens and ended up having a messy breakup. We stayed in touch through the years and even went to a few more school dances while I was still in high school. We've always had a very good attraction to one another, and I can say he was my first love. So when fate rolled around to us both being single at the same time, we jumped on it. Quite literally, we started messaging on a Wednesday and drove 2 hours away on Friday for a concert and never really spent any time apart since then. It's now been over 2 years, and he has been a wonderful parent figure for the kids and has supported me and them fully while I pursue my career, which unfortunately takes about 2 years before making any kind of income. About 4 months into me and Austin dating, my ex received a job opportunity that would have him moving 4 hours away. We agreed that the kids would stay with me.
Okay.
And he would do 1 weekend a month. Well, about a year after that, me and Austin have started making plans for our future, one of which is moving to where his family is, 12 hours away.
Oh, so then that would make it really hard
Yes.
for the dad. How does that work? If you're co-parenting and one of the parents decides to move away from the place you're co-parenting.
I was about to tell you.
Oh, okay.
Now, in my state, if one parent moves further than a certain distance away, they know.
This is written well. You know, right when I had a question, they answered it.
Now, in my state, if one parent moves further than a certain distance away, they no longer have a say in where the other parent lives. Well, me and Austin were planning to move this coming summer after the kids were finished with the school year. My ex, with no notice, moved back. Literally sent a text saying, "Hey, I moved back and I'll pick the kids up Monday for my week." Interesting. At this time, our divorce documents were not updated to the once-a-month visit, so legally he did have 50-50 still. Well, we had a mediation and came to an agreement on custody. However, he does not want to allow us to move since he's now back here. Now, keep in mind, he did not know we had these plans to move. I didn't tell him until we had more things set in stone. With him saying no, it's very difficult to have the courts agree to take away any parent time from either side.
I mean, I feel like that makes
Unfortunately, I do think that
sense.
does make sense.
I mean, like,
At least on part of the courts.
I mean, yes, he moved 4 hours away, but he was still making efforts to see the kids on the weekends.
And you hadn't changed the custody agreement.
And you hadn't changed the custody agreement. And
from a legal standpoint, this does make
I mean,
sense.
also from a moral standpoint, I feel
Also
like
that,
it would be, I mean, yes, he's a D-bag for all the cheating, but You can't just like move 12 hours away so he can't see his kids anymore.
I think that is somewhat of a discussion that needs to be had, especially with the other parent.
I feel like that's not fair.
So if he says no, I can't fight it a whole lot without some amazing opportunity for the court to say, okay, I've tried talking to my ex and asking him for a reason, as I offered to pay for the transportation for him to still see the kids the same amount of time he did when he moved. He won't budge. Our state allows for the children to choose who they live with once they are 13. However, I don't want to stay in this town for an additional 4 to 5 years. Housing is expensive. Austin works outside, and where we live, it gets 110 degrees every summer. So he wants out, and where he is the main provider, I think he deserves to say so. I've always had some family drama and frankly just need the distance from everyone. Now to paint a picture of the relationship at home. My kids absolutely adore Austin. They tell him they love him, constantly want to play games or watch shows with him, sometimes blatantly ignoring me. Me and Austin have agreed to move a little away to where we are still within the distance that we don't need ex or court permission for 2 years. After that, if my ex still won't allow us to move with the kids, we still want to go. If I have serious discussion with my kids at the end of those 2 years about whether they would rather stay with their dad and not move, would I be the a-hole if I went? By the way, you would never be the a-hole if you listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search Pokey Storytime. But there is a little bit left to the story. What do you think?
There's some people saying a cheater is never a good parent, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Kimberly Fine, 3 hours away with kids in each house meant I went back one weekend. Bro came here one weekend, and by weekly weekends, we were at our own homes, alternated B-days and split holidays. Madonna McGregor says, the ex-husband moved to another state. We met halfway. It was 5 hours on Friday and Sunday. Like, those make sense, but moving 12 hours is a lot.
But let's finish this up. I never bring my kids into issues that they don't need to deal with. I don't talk poorly about their father to them or even when they're at home. Right now, they're too young to understand why me and their dad aren't together, but I know that they will be able to figure it out in the coming years. But I never want them to think I'm abandoning them. I would never want to force them to move either, so would I be the a-hole? And there are some comments to finish the story off. Comment 1, difficult doesn't mean impossible. Are you sure there's no way to get through this? I wouldn't give my kids to someone who has proven himself to be a liar or a cheater, but that's only how I feel. OP responds, the judge has already stated that unless I show some kind of amazing opportunity provided by us moving, they won't take away parent time. So sadly, yes, as my career is something that is clientele-based, not job offers, as crappy of a partner he may be, he loves his kids and never missed a visit and does take care of them.
Okay, that is evidence that you just can't take his kids away from him. Like, that's not fair.
Comment 2 says, but I never want them to think I'm abandoning them, but you are abandoning them. Your relationship with your ex sounds awful and sounds full of toxicity and an inability to communicate or respect each other. Regardless of all of that, choosing to move away after those first 2 years will damage your kids beyond what you can comprehend right now. A conversation about why you're moving won't fix it, because at the end of the day, you're choosing a partner and a new home over your presence in your kids' lives. I don't think OP wants to move without the kids. I don't think that's... she's asking whether or not I can take...
Yeah.
I should ask if the kids want to come.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's
I don't think she would leave the kids.
But it's still traumatic to have that ask.
Neither of you have put the kids as a first priority throughout this whole thing. You brought them into this world, and you both owe them to figure out some sort of arrangement to have both of you in their lives in a meaningful way until they are 18. Anything less, and you're the disappearing act. And OP replies, I don't view it as choosing a partner over my kids. I can see how that is a perspective, though. How would not removing some of that toxic behavior not be a benefit? Yes, they may not like me at first. I do have some faith that once they're old enough to understand what happened, they can understand that being around this is not healthy for anyone. And the reply says, doesn't matter how you look at it. All that matters is how the kids look at it. They aren't old enough, and they don't have the cognitive ability to work it out in their head, the nuances of the ex relationship. And what do you think your ex will tell them? He will likely say, Mommy left because she doesn't love us anymore, or some BS like that. In the end, you do you, but I don't think leaving behind the minor children is the right answer. After those 2 years, your kids will be 10 and 7. They won't know crap about F at the age, nor will they know for years to come. If they do, they're being forced to grow up way too early. Their biological father will subsequently be all they know, and they will never choose you once they hit 13. I promise you that. You have to realize you might be saying goodbye to your kids forever with this move. Their father will tell them whatever he wants to tell them, truth or not, and they will resent you for not staying. They are not going to think, oh, Mommy loved Austin and didn't want to be near Daddy. No. They'll do what all kids do. They will personalize it and say that mommy left us. Whether you're the a-hole or not is completely irrelevant. The only question is if you're ready for every consequence to the relationship with your children that this might produce. And actually, it seems like OP wants to move.
Seems like OP's trying to move.
I think I might have misunderstood.
Yeah, maybe we both misunderstood.
It seems like OP's saying that she wants to move now and then in 2 years say, do you guys want to move with mommy? Which actually I think changes a lot here. I think that's a bad move too, though. I think that's not a good move.
I think both are not good moves.
I agree.
But
there's more.
Let's keep going.
Actually, no, there's not.
Oh, there's not? That's it?
That's it. My wife hid years of credit card debt, and now I resent her.
I would too, honestly.
I just uncovered what I really, really hope is everything. There were some red flags that I foolishly ignored. Here is a rough timeline. We've been together since high school and married young, 21 to 20. It was pretty clear from the beginning, and we even had conversations specifically about it, that she would handle the money. Her parents are incredible with money. They are avid couponers, exceptional investors, and mind-bogglingly frugal. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Credit Card Debt Help, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, it was logical to me that she would inherit at least some of this, and since I hated everything to do with finances, it made perfect sense. Pause real quick. I wouldn't just assume, Sam's a terrible cook and our mom's amazing at cooking, so sometimes those don't transfer. More backstory. I am the primary breadwinner. She makes less than $10K a year from a part-time job. Shortly after we married, she got a couple of credit cards that had cashback or air mileage programs and explained to me that as long as we kept them paid off, they'd basically be giving us free money. A year before we were married, I started working as a freelance contractor. This meant I had to pay estimated taxes every quarter. Last year, tax year 2013, she offered to take over my taxes and I happily agreed. Again, I hate finances. I just told her every quarter I made X amount, so send the IRS Y amount. 4 times she told me she would. This last tax season, I found out she lied every single time. We got a massive bill and thousands of it were from the late fees alone. I only found out because I had to help and sign for the taxes. This basically wiped out our nest egg and left us owing $5,000, which we had to put on a payment plan with the IRS. She apologized and cried a lot and said she just misunderstood the estimated taxes and that this kind of thing would never ever happen again. I shrugged it off. People make mistakes. There is about $4,200 left to pay the IRS. Jump forward to this June. We moved into a new place. The city requires a credit check to turn on the water, sewage, etc. I go to the office to sign and finalize it, and to my surprise, they require a rather large deposit. I ask about it, and they said it was due to the credit check. I looked over the credit report, and it had a column that said, these items negatively affect your score. Most of them were fine, like credit history is too short, but one line really stood out to me. Average balance on all accounts above 30%. When we first got the credit cards, our limit was $2,000. So I thought, okay, $600 in credit debt isn't a big deal. I told my wife about the credit check and the large deposit, and she said something like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I kind of let that slip this month. It'll be fine next month. What I didn't know at the time was that our credit limit had increased to $5,000 and that we were far, far past the 30%. Wow. Okay, wait. So your credit limit was $2,000 and you were at $5,000, or you had increased the limit to $5,000?
I think the limit was increased to $5,000 and then they were past over 30% of the $5,000.
We both know it, but we won't say.
At least, $4,000 would be $1,200, I think, if we're going off of his math. So they owe over $1,500. He said well over the 30% mark. That's crazy. Plus that $5,000 too.
Just over a month ago, I come home and sit down at the computer, which we both use. My wife comes over and sits next to me and starts telling me about her day. I close the browser window that had been open, and behind it is a PDF statement for one of the credit cards. My wife screams, "Close that!" and grabs the mouse and closes it. That's not suspicious at all. But before she does, I see at the top a massive current balance, $4,900. It wasn't exactly $4,900. There was some change. She turns bright red and looks at me with a look of, did you see that? I say something like $4,900. She breaks down and starts crying. She explains that it just got out of hand and she lost control and it's been snowballing and she didn't want to tell me about it because it was stressed me out and it was all her fault. Then she says something that still pisses me off to think about. It all started when you stopped working from home and got a job. I didn't realize you were going to make a lot less money.
Now's not the time. Even if that does contribute, now's not the time. Don't put it on him.
This pisses me off because I got a 20% raise when I stopped freelancing. It just seemed like less money because of tax withholding. And I was contributing to a 401k and our health insurance got 10 times better. So there was less cash in the bank every week, but I was making more money. Yeah, they were just spending more on stuff to improve their life. Anyway, we have a long talk and decide that the money needs to be transparent. And honestly, you need to handle the finances. Or like get an accountant if you have the funds. Have a tax guy.
Yeah.
We set up you need a budget, and she went through and added everything in. We decided that every single week we'll go through our weekly expenses, and neither of us will spend any money without telling the other. We plan everything out and figure out that we can pay off the credit card by the end of the year if we eat super cheap and never go out. At some point during this day-long talk and planning session, I noticed she had left out the other credit card from NAB.
Oh no.
I asked her about it directly. Like I looked her in the eye and said, "What about the Amex?" She looked at me and with a straight face said, "It's like at $400 to $600. I barely ever put anything on it because it doesn't have cash back. I'll pay it off by the month, then just close it." That sounds like a lie.
Absolutely is a lie.
For some stupid effing reason, I believed her. That's on you.
That's so on you.
That's on you at that point. You are the freaking frog on the scorpion's back, and the scorpion is just stinging you. And you're like, well, scorpion definitely won't sting me again. And the scorpion's like, no way I would sting you. And then, bah.
Okay, have fun.
Stop letting the scorpion sting you.
At a certain point, it's like, she's obviously making bad financial decisions because of everything that's been presented. And you are making bad financial decisions by trusting her with all of this.
Literally trusting her in any regard.
You kind of got to take some responsibility too.
After the $5,000 incident, I would have been like, we're going through everything. And if she was like, no, it's fine, I'd be like, no, we're going through everything. I'm taking over on like all these finances. We're going to talk every week. You're going to run me through everything. And then I'm going to have like final look through of everything.
At least it's like your own money. She could look over hers, sure, and then maybe I would run a review to help her out. But like my money, staying with me.
No, absolutely. And I'm not saying like you control the finances. I'm just saying you guys work together and you look at everything. Now, skip forward to this morning. I decide to check on everything because we had some minor but unexpected expenses this week. And I want to see how it affect our long-term payoff plan. I logged into the Amex account and saw that it has a balance of $3,534.
Oh my gosh.
Not only that, but I logged into the other credit card to find that it's $1,000 higher than what she's reporting in YNAB. She recorded two $500 payments in YNAB that she never actually paid. I'm looking through the statements, and where I've been living on basically chicken and vegetables, she's been eating out multiple times a week while I was at.
Oh my gosh. She's just been racking up.
It seems like she has no life skills. Like she's not able to feed herself. She's not able to take care of her finances without causing massive financial ruin for this couple. There are countless expenses that I can't account for and that go way beyond the budget we planned. Our plan to have what I now know is only half our debt paid off by the end of the year is completely botched already. Just a month in. I feel sick. I don't think I'll ever be able to trust her again. My stomach churns every time I think about her face when she told me the Amex only had a balance of $400. I'm seriously considering a divorce. Would a divorce be an overreaction? Is this something I should be able to forgive? Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. And there are some relevant comments, but I mean, like, to a certain extent, this is kind of financial. I mean, there's no animosity behind it, like a malicious way, but she's still doing it. And she's still kind of ruining your whole financial plan.
And it's not much of an accident anymore. She was deliberately doing that.
She's deliberately lying to you, regardless of how deliberate her actions are.
You guys decided on a plan to how to fix this and how to pay off this thing, and she just like went against it. Sue her.
I mean, you can to an extent, kind of, if you do decide to go with the divorce. I know that all debts incurred during a marriage would be both of yours, but you might be able to say like, hey, was not aware of these debts going into it. Like, I think there are things that you can fight for in a divorce where you can say that you were not aware that she was racking up this amount.
Yeah, that's probably possible. Dude, I'm getting a prenup.
We read so many stories that don't work out well. Relevant comments. Slim Shanny says, I think you should consider counseling before jumping to divorce. Sometimes there is a lot of shame surrounding financial troubles. Also, don't let your wife be in charge of the finances anymore. I would give her one card, the both of you have an allowance, and be meticulous about your finances. This is obviously something she can't handle. She got into trouble and felt too ashamed to come to you for help. Why doesn't she work more? Do you two have kids? And OP responded, no kids. She's been off and on pursuing a degree. She dropped out last semester, then started again this semester, taking 8 credit hours. So the primary reason she doesn't work more is because she wants to finish school. We're, or I guess I am, paying for her school out of pocket. Slim Shandy says, I can hear the anger through your post. I think you should do what you can to diminish that before you talk to her about this again. I look at my finances about once a week. I figure out where our money is going and why. We have a spreadsheet that shows expected savings versus expected expenses. My husband called me while I was at work last week because he noticed I spent $5 on a protein shake. Looking at credit card statement, my online, it shows him instantly. He asked me if I lost my shaker and if he needs to prepare my shake for me so I don't forget. Dang, that is maybe too intense, I think. That's like she buys one shake. Did you lose your shaker? You spent $5? That's too intense.
That's pretty intense. It's nice that he was like, okay, maybe like I can prepare it so that we could save that money. The fact that it's on media is like, we can talk about it later.
We are both on top of our finances and contributing to our financial goals. Never leave this in her hands again. You both need to know what is going on with your money. So there's the deceit you need to deal with in addition to her not pulling her weight. Why did she drop out? What is she contributing? Does she feel a responsibility financially to you? Opie says. She dropped out after she got a failing grade on one of her tests. She dropped out of school because she got one fail on a test? Not even on the final? Not even the class? On a test?
Out of the whole school, she's gone.
She got like a D on a test. She was like, well, they hate me.
She's like, well, I can't ever pick this back up.
Impossible.
When I'm only doing school and like barely working.
She decided to switch to an easier major, but has since switched back to the harder major. I'm honestly not sure what she's contributing anymore. I do all the cooking and half the cleaning. She goes to work and school. My original thought was that as soon as she finishes her degree, she'll make up for, as her degree has a very high starting salary. I'm not sure I follow your last question. I know she's very self-conscious about her contribution to the relationship and gets very defensive anytime a conversation enters the same hemisphere as contribution. And there is an update.
Wow, there's more?
There's more. I don't at all blame you for considering divorce. It's not that, she's putting you in a really hard place financially, but it's that she's lying over and over.
Yeah, and just like using this.
First, a big thank you to everyone who gave me their thoughts and advice. It's been a month since I found the second half of the debt. Here is what has happened since. We're still together. I've taken complete control of the finances, but she can still see it all, and we're discussing finances on a regular basis, which I think that's probably not completely shutting her out. I also think she should go to classes for this. I set up Mint, big thanks to those who recommended it. It's been a huge help, though the net worth column makes me a little sick every time I see it. I have not set up a separate bank account as some people recommended. She freely gave up all her credit cards, and I hid them. I figured cutting them up could potentially cause problems if I needed to cancel subscriptions or something. My logic may be flawed, but since hiding them, exactly $0 has been spent on them. So I believe it's a safe method for now. She has a debit card she is supposed to only use for gas and groceries that are on our agreed upon list. We're now about $800 less debt, which feels like a drop in the bucket, but at least it's a drop in the bucket in the correct direction. We've managed to almost follow the budget I planned out. Unfortunately, our relationship has suffered in a big way. I have to check the transactions on her card every day, and at least twice a week there are things on there she shouldn't have bought. Wow, that's so frustrating. Like, it still hasn't changed. When I confront her about them, she always has an excuse ready. I withdrew $20 to buy Girl Scout cookies from a client's daughter, but since I can't have the cookies, gluten allergy, I told them to just take the $20.
Acting like she's Bill Gates.
I'm sorry, you gave $20 away for cookies you can't eat?
You didn't even get any cookies to give to OP?
Yeah, OP doesn't have a gluten allergy, I think. I can't bring myself to believe her excuses. I know she's lying, at least some of the time. As in, there will be a Starbucks cup left in the car. See, like at this point, this is where I'd be like, hey, did you forget that we can make coffee at home?
Yeah, right? Get that shaker thing. I'm confused really quick. He hid the credit cards, and no money has been spent on those. So what is this money coming from? Debit or something?
She has a debit card. She has a debit card she's supposed to only use for gas and groceries.
Well, if this isn't agreed upon, no more card. Easy peasy.
I don't really want to start a fight over $20, and I can't tell the difference between when she's lying and when she isn't. Until a month ago, I thought she never lied. You wouldn't be starting a fight over $20. You'd be starting a fight over her lying to you. I should take a moment to say I like strong women. I fell in love with this girl when I was 18 and she was 17 because she was the most mature, independent girl my age I had ever met, among other qualities. She had a good job for 17. She was moving out of her parents' house. She had a car. That one's kind of like her parents probably got her the car.
When you're in high school, standards are low.
In short, for her age, I thought she really had her crap together. I have never wanted the nuclear stay-at-home wife. I wanted a career wife. You know Claire Underwood from House of Cards? That's the kind of woman I wanted and who I thought I found. While we were dating, she was all about career advancement, long-term plans, traveling the world, etc. I'm concerned I had rose-colored glasses on, and because I wanted her to be a strong, independent woman, I ignored her faults, and she went out of her way to act like the strong woman she knew I wanted her to be. Whenever I find her spending money on things she shouldn't, I either have to let it go, bad I assume, or I have to ground a grown woman from her debit card, which shouldn't be your place either, which I really hate to do. I hate the idea of my wife being a subordinate or like I have to punish or police her activity. It makes me feel like an a-hole. Not to mention, it's a complete turnoff that has decimated our intimacy. It's incredibly difficult for me to want to have spicy sleep with someone I just had to scold because they broke a budget we both agreed on. Despite telling me she's sorry and she feels terrible, I feel like I'm fighting alone. It's like instead of being my partner and finding ways to help, I have to actively prevent her from doing further harm. A good example is that she has never looked for scholarships for school. I doubt she could get a free ride or anything, but she hasn't even looked because I've always been able to just pay it off immediately. I get that hunting down and applying for scholarships takes a lot of time and effort, and I have no idea if she'd get any, but she could at least look. I have brought it up and she just brushes it off as, I'll look, but I won't qualify for anything, so it'll be a waste of time. And then she doesn't look. Another example. A number of people recommend marriage counseling for us and or therapy for her. I asked her to find a therapist, and then if the therapist thought, after talking with her, that we should do couple counseling, I'd be happy to. I reminded her to find a therapist every day for the first week, and a month later, she still hasn't. I don't mind reminding her, but at this point, it's pretty clear she's deliberately avoiding it. Every day, I remind her about our debt, which upsets me, but then I get upset at myself for being upset. For example, I'll turn down going out with friends because it costs money. Then I'll think, damn it, if my wife didn't put me in debt, I could go out with her friends. And then 5 minutes later, I'll think, wow, did I really get mad at my wife because I can't go out with my friends? There are people who can't afford food, and I'm upset that I can't afford cocktail. I'm an a-hole. So I get trapped in a circle of resenting my wife, and then resenting myself for resenting my wife. I would like to avoid giving the impression that I believe myself blameless in all of this. I appreciate those who pointed it out. I shouldn't have ignored my own finances for so long. I shouldn't have dumped that responsibility on anyone. I let myself get caught up in the fantasy that I was married to a perfect, strong, independent person who could do anything. If I were to pursue a separation or divorce, I wouldn't try to escape the debt, or at least half the debt. If I wasn't supporting her or paying for her school out of my pocket, I could pay it all off in a few months. We're still together, but I haven't forgiven her, and I'm harboring a lot of resentment. I am so afraid of doing something I'll regret that I'm caught in a limbo. I won't forgive her, but I won't leave her, which isn't fair to her or myself, but I'm too afraid to do either. It's not the money. Money will come and go. It's the continued lying and the lack of effort to make it right that I am having trouble forgiving. On the other hand, divorce really doesn't sound very fun. I am afraid I could never forgive her, but I'm afraid I'd never forgive myself if I left her. And there are some relevant comments to finish the story off, but do you have any relevant comments of your own?
You're so hard on yourself. I get the idea of being like, oh, but like other people are struggling more, so like I shouldn't be complaining about this. People are always going to struggle more. It's good to be aware of that sometimes in some cases and keep that in consideration. However, for this, like just because there are people in worse situations doesn't mean that you're not in a bad situation.
And also doesn't mean that you have to be happy with the situation that you're in.
Yeah, and put up with it. And you're so young. Like what? You're in your 20s? like early 20s, you will find more people. You will be okay. I promise you. Because now this is going to be something that you're going to look for in someone, like their financial responsibilities. And then it'll be like even more gratifying when you find that, because then it's like, I had this such bad like situation with that. So this is something that I really want now.
And also just like taking with you knowledge that you need to be more on top of your own finances. But it's just like, yeah, oh, wow, I did really drop the ball there. And someone took advantage of it. But, I need to make sure that I have my eye on said ball.
Lots of things that we're learning here. Doesn't seem like she's going to get better at these things anytime soon. And this is obviously something that you're resenting her for, which is understandable. So that's okay.
Okay, AITAH says, I think you should tell her it's time for her to get a full-time job. Her entire paycheck can go to the debt. I don't care if it's at McDonald's. She needs a job. Opie responds, the problem with this is that I've already paid for her semester of school. She has a part-time job, and I really don't want to just throw away the tuition money I've already spent. After the semester is over, however, it's definitely an option. And there is a final update.
Oh my gosh, there's still more?
We're about to find out whether OP stayed in this relationship or divorced. Let's jump in. I don't know how to put this. We're still together.
Stop.
We're still in love. And as of today, we're debt-free.
Congrats. Okay.
You overcame it. We finally set aside our pride and went to counseling. You know what? You just needed the counseling.
That's really a lot of the fixes here in these Reddit stories.
But you know what? Your fix can be listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. She stayed in school at my insistence, but started working her butt off. She took more hours at work and took any odd job she could. Babysitting, dog sitting, house sitting. She gave up a huge chunk of her nights and weekends and massively reined in her impulse purchases. Her grades did suffer quite a bit, but now she'll be able to cut way back on work and focus much more on school. It's been 10 months, but I feel like we've matured 10 years. We're both better at communicating and money management. We've learned how to go on cheap dates, and we're both better cooks. We drink and eat out a lot less, so we're both healthier. I don't think this could have turned out better. Wow! What a turnaround! Just took 10 months. Debt-free in 10 months is pretty impressive.
Yeah, with that much debt, too. Good on her.
Honestly, she really turned around, which is really, really impressive. Props to you guys. But that is the end of that story. My husband emotionally cheated on me, but thinks I should apologize?
Well, it is opposite day.
For context, my husband Pete has kept in touch with all of his old uni mates. When I met him, I slowly adopted them as my friends too, with my friends taking a backseat as he had always been pretty uncomfortable around them. No particular reason for this, he just is happier with his own friends. This was never a major issue. Obviously, it hurt me a little to see my friends less, but never a huge deal. We've been married for 13 years, together 16, and his friendships with most of his friends go back 20 to 25 years. In the main, I get on fine with most. There are a few that I don't really like, but like in any group, I can pretty easily avoid them. By the way, this comes from Big Nefarious 3427, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit, and they might get read just like this one. Roll forward to 3 years ago. A female friend of my husband's, let's call her Regina, lost a close friend, Dave, to an illness which slowly degraded his ability to move and speak at a pretty early age, around 40. She'd been in a relationship with him, but they split before his illness got really bad. He was a father figure to her daughter and an all-around good guy from the sounds of things. Whilst he was ill, Regina met someone else. He moved in with her, she got pregnant and had another baby. The relationship didn't work out and the guy moved out and made her a single mom for the second time in her life. The baby had complications at birth and is developmentally delayed, and to be fair to Regina, she is doing a great job with that. The problem is this. After Dave passed, Regina would turn up to events with friends and do a lot of very loud grieving, crying, needing attention, etc. I get that. She lost a close friend, but it went on for a really long time. There is a part of me that does think she is a bit hypocritical though. She kind of acts like a widow when she's clearly moved on. However, I don't know the whole situation as I'm not close with her. Anyway, one holiday away, my husband sat up with her all night, holding her hand while she cried and admitted she was depressed and self-harming. I didn't mind him paying this attention to her. It felt like the right thing to do as a friend. However, from that point onwards, their friendship started making me really uncomfortable. We have a big party at our house every year, and I found them snuggling up together on a couch in front of loads of people. My husband has never been a physically affectionate person and will flinch when hugged by me, so that was very odd to me. They went out for lunch together a lot. He would stay at her house at certain points, I assume when other people were there, but I've never been sure. I know that on one occasion, Regina stopped Pete from sleeping on her couch and moved him to her bed where she got in with him. I have been assured that nothing happened, but I just don't get why you do that when someone is happily asleep on the couch.
Well, we know why they do that.
We know. For my birthday, Pete included Regina in the celebrations despite me asking him not to, and despite not being at all close with this woman. She barely knows me and literally has no interest in me or my life. Never has, unless there is some favor she needs. It was my 40th. When we got home, Pete put up an Insta post which did not feature a single photo of me, but several of her. He started telling me, Regina thinks this. We should do this thing Regina told me about.
My girlfriend told me we should go here.
My girlfriend said that she really likes this restaurant. She will be meeting us, and we're gonna get Pazookies. About this time, other friends asked me whether they were having an affair, and my stock response was no, just close friends. I confronted him and asked if I should be worried about all this, and his response was insane, yelling, how dare I? Men can have female friends too, blah, blah, blah. He went straight over to Regina's to tell her I demanded they never see each other again. I hadn't. And when he got home, it was like he'd just been dumped by a teenage crush. It was ridiculous. Since then, we've had couples counseling. I've been on the brink of leaving so many times. I have times when I cannot stand this man. I have times when I think maybe everything will be okay and we're better as a family. We have 2 kids. At one point, Regina asked if I would be okay with them hanging out with the kids when I was away, as they were the only ones free that day. I phoned to ask Pete what he wanted me to say, and he shrugged it off and told me to say what I thought. So I let her know that I would prefer them not to. All heck broke loose with Pete that day. How dare I rule his life? He can make his own decisions.
Hey, Petey.
He's a big boy.
Do you remember when you made the decision, little Petey boy, to let me make the call? What are we talking about?
I wouldn't have minded, but he literally told me to say what I thought. A couple of months later, we tried to mutually calm things down, which ended up with Regina accusing Pete of being a predator to her, something that I know is not true. It's not in his character. He's a lot of things, but creepy isn't one of them. I blocked her number after that, as she'd said a bunch of pretty unforgivable things, and I was done. That was last year.
I'd be looking at that comment from Regina under a bit of a microscope if I was you, OP.
I mean,
she might have been hearing things that you didn't hear that made her say that.
I would look a bit closer, but also, I mean, I would just look a little bit closer at their relationship in general. Regardless of whether what she says is true, they still had something going on that affects you and your husband's relationship.
Oh, wait, okay. I think I might have just misunderstood that. Was she saying that she was a victim of his predation and that's why she's like, oh, he's trying to take me?
Yes.
He's like, he wants me.
Yes.
I thought she was being like, nah, this guy's like, I don't know, this guy said some weird stuff. I'm not down.
I was kind of interpreting it, not saying that, you know, you shouldn't still look into this, but I was kind of interpreting it as her saying like, no, like I didn't do anything wrong. He was, you know, being a predator towards me, and that's why all of this, you know, we got close and everything, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
that was my interpretation. Of course, that might be incorrect.
I think the interpretation is she's just being like, this isn't my fault.
There have been situations when we were all in the same place at the same time. Regina even invited herself over to our house when we had a bunch of friends over. I was not happy to see her, but I didn't make her leave either. I even asked her how her kids were. There have also been a couple of occasions when something has gone on with her when we haven't been invited, and Pete has had major FOMO and got crappy with me again about how he's not invited, and the only person who can solve that is me. But I don't want to solve it and don't feel like I should. By the way, you can solve everything in your life by listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search a Poke Storytime. But there is a wee bit left to the story.
That's all it takes.
Any final thoughts?
I said it earlier, but it's like, it really feels like OP is not in tune with what they want. To the point where it was like, Regina reached out and was like, you want me to come, you know, watch the kids? And then it's like reaching out to Pete and being like, so what should I say here?
Yeah.
Which I get it, because you're also in a relationship where it feels like everything you do is scrutinized and this guy's like, that was wrong, this is wrong. But it's like, outside of a relationship, outside of anything but yourself, like, good to know what you want.
Yeah.
Because it points
Set
you
your
in the right
boundaries,
direction.
you know, like put your boundaries up, or at least verbalize what your boundaries are to yourself. And then, you know, when you see this happen, you can say, oh, that's not okay. I'm not okay with that. And it doesn't really matter what my partner says or what excuses they have. I'm going to put that line in the sand and say, nope, you know, this can't proceed if you continue that behavior, or it has to end. But just know, like, none of that behavior that they were doing was okay. That was all bad. The thing is, Regina is a mutual friend to many other people. I don't want to see her, but I'm not going to stand in other people's way. Pete, though, is insistent that I need to be a grown-up and heal so people don't feel awkward around all three of us.
I mean, but you should just be leaving this guy. I know you have kids, but it's like, again, just figure out what it is you want.
I don't give a crap about healing with that woman. She's been unbelievably toxic, and I respect myself too much to offer up an apology. You don't owe anyone an apology. I'm also not sure what I'd be apologizing for, but my husband cannot get over the fact that I will not offer up an olive branch, something that he brings up at least once per month and elicits a fight over to the point where I have started to actively dislike him and feel that he just lacks any respect or empathy for me. But there is also a world where I am being too stubborn and should just get over myself. It's not this world.
Yeah, dude, that the lack of respect and empathy has been the vibe I've picked up on the whole story.
And also, I just want to point out that you were basically kind of isolated from your friends. Maybe not like to a very large degree, but at least a little. You said that you had to kind of stop seeing them because he didn't like your friends.
Yeah.
It's like a part of a partnership is you got to kind of get along with the friends. What is the song?
Or even if you don't like them, it's like, well, she can still hang out with them.
If you want to be my lover, you got to get with my friends.
Ah, the classic.
Classic quote, man.
The classic.
It's the golden rule. But yeah, you still have to respect the friendships.
You gotta at least be able to tolerate the friends.
It breaks my heart to think I should swallow down my true feelings, but maybe I'm wrong. Comment 1. Not the a-hole. He definitely is. Why the heck do you still want to be with him? OP says, honestly, not sure. A bit to do with cannot be bothered with the hassle. Some with couldn't bear to split the kids from either of us. Some because he just wouldn't cope. A lot because financially it's a step backward. We both earn good money, but that doesn't mean much at the moment. It's just easier to ignore, I guess. But all of you are right. Why? I reckon I need a therapist to help me clear my thoughts. I think that's a good idea.
Yes.
I think it seems like you're done with this relationship, except for sakes of convenience.
Yeah, now it's just like we're at it would be harder to
divorce,
to live in the truth.
Comment 2, he slept in the same bed as her? Girl, come on. People started asking you if they were having an affair because they most likely knew they were. In your heart, with the way they behaved with each other, you have to know there was no way the two of them slept in the same bed and did nothing. He had an affair with her. He's angry because he wants it to continue. You deserve better. Leave his butt and let her have him. It's not a flex to win a cheating POS, nor keep a cheating POS. It's also not worth this amount of constant arguing, fighting, and feeling like crap to avoid what's inevitable. You will keep doing this and you will keep fighting. Seems easier to leave. And that is the end of that story. My husband's family is against our marriage because of who I am.
Oh, that sounds real bad.
Trigger warning.
Oh, it sounds even worse.
My husband, 27 male, and I, 27 female, have been married 3 years, together 5. He is African American, and I am half Hispanic, half Middle Eastern, or white because I am not black. By the way, this comes from Throw Away the and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, for all intents and purposes, I pass for a completely non-ethnic person, so that probably makes it harder to see me as a minority. And yes, I do speak fluent Spanish and have been out of the country, but none of that is obvious to anyone. My issue is that my husband's family so obviously doesn't like me because I'm not black. He is the only male out of 5 children, and that alone is reason enough in their eyes to be disappointed in who he chose. My husband has confirmed that he feels the same. He agrees that they don't like me because I'm not black. I'm also short and curvy. His family is tall and lanky. He says that they expected him to be with a tall black woman with the perfect figure. Going further, their dislike of me has been very obvious from the get-go. Before I met his mother, I sent her flowers.
Super huge W move right there.
Yeah, that's what I did. She returned my flowers. Dang, that did not happen to me. That's ouch. And got me a refund. When we visited for the first time, I was treated like an annoying pest who was where I wasn't invited. First time we visited, we stayed 2 weeks because we lived across the country. We have since moved within driving distance. I was ignored, cut off from conversation, and made to listen to all of their crappy opinions on white people. They would act weird when I walked into a room and stare at me while I ate. And that was just upon first meeting them. None of it even makes sense because they live in a $500,000 home. It's literally the biggest house I've ever seen. Every single time we have visited, I have to listen to stories about how white people are building up their area in order to push them out and how white people have so much influence. It's like they wait to say it around me because they love to see how uncomfortable I get.
Literally.
Because I don't really have any input. I myself did not grow up around any American people and had no issue with them. Any American people in general? It doesn't matter how many times I told them that I'm not white, or that I'm Jewish, or that I have my own relatives who were unalived in the Holocaust, and so I have my own fair share of whining I could be doing. None of it matters. To them, I am not black, so I must be white. Well, I'm not discounting anything that you're going through, but I think that, like, I don't know if the best argument to be is like, I'm not white, like bringing up other things. I don't know if that's like the best way to kind of stop the conversation, you know?
Yeah, I think
To
the
be like,
best
I'm Jewish.
way about this is just be like, do you guys have a problem with me? Like,
yeah,
you just be like,
don't, like, I feel like
don't let it be like, ooh, like
the trauma
maybe it's
Olympics
about,
thing, like just be like, hey, like, is there a problem? Like,
you have a problem with me?
Yeah.
I feel like you do. I feel like you have problems with me.
Their sisters also always make the same comments, how somewhere we are going is discriminatory or how something I want to do is discriminatory. They get off on this crap. Another thing, mom orders me around the house like a literal slave. She speaks in a very demeaning and condescending tone and orders me to do this or that rather than ask me to do this or that. She would get in my face over something someone else in the house did. She would corner me and instruct me to work in the kitchen and yell commands at me and tell me how to do things as if I were and she has to. I think she would do it because it gave her the kicks to order around a white person. I would put up with this mainly because we were hours away from home and it's hard to defend myself when I'm in someone else's house and they're surrounded by an army of people who are willing to go to bat at any second. I have told my husband about this and he blew it off enough times that I have refused to visit his family anymore. They're also very judgmental of me and conversations usually involve a string of passive-aggressive, underhanded, condescending comments followed by how I react to them. That's about it. When we first got married, everyone in the family refused to acknowledge it and did not attend the ceremony. We invited them to visit us and eventually they came. To celebrate our marriage, I wanted to go to my favorite Jewish restaurant. We went and everyone sat quiet. No one discussed our recent marriage or future or anything. It seemed like a funeral. The mother got up and disappeared. We later found her sitting in the car. She said that she didn't feel comfortable being in a restaurant that didn't have black people. This was an effing Jewish restaurant. Although there are black Jews, this particular restaurant was for either older white men or younger hipster people due to playing live music.
Just imagine the reversal of this situation. You know, just imagine someone being like, I couldn't be in that restaurant because there's no white people. It'd be like, whoa. That's and then
okay,
it's just a weird way to view what you're doing. Where it's like, there's not enough black people in here. I can't be here.
I disagree.
All right, that's fine.
I disagree. I think that in this context, she is trying to make Opie uncomfortable just because of everything else we learned. But I think that when you're like a minority or a part of a minority group and you are surrounded, like you're kind of like on the outs of something and you're surrounded by people who are like no other minorities, it can be very like uncomfortable. It was revolting that she said that. The whole night was basically made about her and how she didn't see any black people. No one said anything nice about our marriage. We eventually went home and I was literally the only one to have a slice of the $500 wedding cake we bought just for us to share to celebrate. They gave us some crappy dollar store gifts and went to bed. It seemed like everyone was depressed that we got married. His sisters had started to like me for me at some point, but whenever they get too close to me, they always back off. One of his sisters has an African-American boyfriend who literally has nothing going for him, just your typical loser/dreamer, but his family takes him very seriously. And he is always invited to everything and is even expected to marry the sister. The mother is basically crazy about him and supports his pipe dreams as real destiny. It's painfully obvious that she just likes him because he's not white. I have even had several talks with him in which the boyfriend revealed that he is happy that his relationship isn't being treated like ours and that he would not stay if it were like that. I have also had to sit there for hours and listen to his father go on and on about slavery and how white people did this and that. I don't mind discussing it. What bothers me is that they don't want to hear about my own history, being that we're always talking about history. I have an amazing story about how my grandparents escaped the Holocaust and went to Argentina and changed their last name to fit in. I have stories of actual persecution to me and not people from the past. Well, I'm sure they also have persecution, like stories about them.
Everybody is victimized in life to some degree, but it's like also the context is OP is not American, so it's like as Americans we are like really
like
drilled with this
really huge,
which I think kind of creates that kind of it can create almost like an environment where people are like aware of like our history and the pretext of like today, but it also can get in the way of just being like, can we just like get along? Because then it's like, well, no, because you guys did this to us. And it's like you can take any color out of it, just make that the context of, hey, can we be cool? No, because you did this to us in the past. But take any American context out of it. It's like that just can get in the way if it's a full focal point constantly.
Yeah, but then also like
I'm not saying it didn't happen.
No, but it's still happening is the problem.
There are marginalized, communities and marginalized people, but they're living in a $500,000 mansion.
I mean, they are in a different tax bracket.
You know.
And they experience different oppression.
It's just one of those things where it's like, can we talk about something else? I'm not the one that did this.
They refuse to listen to my own history, and I think it's because they need to feel like they are telling a horrible white person about how crappy they are. They can't be reminded that I have nothing to do with that. When I told them that I am raising my children Jewish, they said okay and changed the subject. I changed it back and made a little joke about how all of our kids should have little bar mitzvahs. Oh, we're not into that, and they just moved on. I was trying to get them to talk about me for a change. They have even carefully crafted situations in which they pretend they will visit, but drop out at the last minute because of me, and it's because they want my husband to see me as evil and trying to tear their family apart. The story just goes from there, but you get it at this point. I love my husband to and he is mainly why I put up with it for so long, until I finally said I wouldn't be visiting anymore. I just want to understand why black families do this. I have feelings too. I have cried so many times from stuff they have said. I have left their house feeling worthless. Why does this go on? Why do they see this as right? My husband is trying to talk to them, but they won't admit to anything, so it's a lost cause. And edit, didn't expect anyone to comment. A bunch of people have accused my post of being made up for the purpose of trolling, or that I'm actually a discriminatory or something else worse. Let me just say that is the most disgusting thing I've ever been accused of. My marriage to my husband is the most sacred thing to me, and to take crappy grammar on my part, crack pipe dreams, obviously meant pipe dreams. Oh, sorry, I was crying and upset. Whatever, and take other little nuggets out of context and twist them to your liking is so horribly harmful it's not even funny. The post is real, blah, blah, blah. Comments. Comment 1. Congratulations, OP. You've married a guy who has no spine. Your husband has not stood up for you at all, and this situation has gotten out of control. Reply. That's one thing that stuck out for me reading this. There's hardly any mention of the husband at all. Is he just sitting around on his butt while his family is treating his wife this way? There seems to be absolutely zero consequences for his family acting like this. He needs to get his act together and put his foot down. The two of them need to be a united front. He needs to refuse to subject himself and his wife to a discriminatory, toxic environment. 0 visits/contact until they can adjust their behavior. This whole situation is ridiculous and, like you said, has gotten way out of control. I can't even imagine what will happen if/when a child comes into the mix if the situation doesn't change. OP says, this is so true. Once we were sitting in the backyard and his mother cornered me and started badgering me and making a mockery of several things she knew about me. I was basically stuck there until she was finished and walked back inside. Husband was sitting right next to me. After the ride home, I walked inside the house and burst into tears, and because I felt so humiliated. He comforted me but maintained that he didn't hear anything, sitting right next to me. Your husband needs to deal with this. He needs to do more than just tell them about it. He needs to tell them that their behavior and treatment of you is unacceptable and needs to change. This should leave them no room to deny specific behaviors because he was not specific. If he is strong enough mentally/emotionally to stand up against them, he can tell them they are being discriminatory bullies. He doesn't need them to admit that. He just needs them to know it's unacceptable and to take him seriously when he tells them it needs to stop. He may have to threaten to cut contact too and mean it. Imagine how horrible they will be to your children. This needs to be dealt with before you have children, or the children need to be kept away from them too. Ask your husband to picture his family doing everything they did to you to your future daughter or son. Opie says, I'm seriously afraid his family would talk crap about me to my kids. Once my dad talked crap about my husband, and I quickly cut him off and told him I don't want to hear it. And there is an update.
Another update.
Dang. Yeah. I don't know if this, I mean, right now, unless your husband kind of stands up for you.
I don't know. There needs to be a conversation about, like, why are you not getting involved? And I feel like the answer is just going to be because she's scary and she's going to yell at me. Like, I don't want my mom to be scary and yell at me.
I also think maybe her and her husband can have like a conversation about where they're coming from culturally, because it seems like she's not American. They have very different kind of like experiences in the world, and I feel like maybe they could have a conversation about that, because I think it's important when you're like in an interracial marriage to understand where you're coming from, like in life and stuff.
Yeah.
Like potentially that could also help. There is an update though. I mean, well, this is my update. Race relations, so to speak, have not gotten any better. No matter how hard I've tried to integrate seamlessly into the fold. I'm now pregnant with the first grandchild of the family, and this pregnancy has been met with a combination of condescendingly disingenuous enthusiasm and begrudging acceptance.
That's a lot of colorful adjectives right there.
Basically, they're happy that their son/brother is having a child, but that happiness does not extend to me. I think sometimes they get excited, but then they remember that the baby is also half of me. So they pipe down and get over it. It's very sad because we spent about 2.5 years trying to get pregnant.
God.
They more or less ignore the whole pregnancy and pretend to make a big deal whenever my husband asks them if they even care. That is when all the gifts they have been buying suddenly come into play. Also, I believe that having the first grandchild in the family is an honor I seemingly stole from his sisters as an outsider. I think they feel like the first grandchild should have been one of them, and I'm taking away the glory. This is speculation. However, his sisters are known to jump through hoops to be in the center of admiration, and it's no wonder this pregnancy is being passed over as if I'm merely a family friend and not carrying their blood. His mother makes fun of me for having long hair and being extremely into fashion and makeup. She laughs at it like it's pathetic and has told me on numerous occasions to cut my hair. I haven't heard her telling any of her daughters to cut their long hair. No, I must cut my hair. When we came up with the baby names, we placed each of his parents' name in each of the baby name options, depending on gender, and it doesn't seem like a big deal to anyone. I didn't do that to impress them. My husband was adamant that his parents' names be included, and so that is what we did. He even wanted to include the name of a stillborn his mother had, so we did that. It was like not a big deal to her. To me, I feel like including the name that was associated with the stillborn that she mentions a minimum of once a week is weird to me. But I assume that it would be a nice tribute for her. As she gets emotional talking about it, she just doesn't care though. Again, my husband suggested it and I'm fine with it, but it seems like there's just no way they will allow me to emotionally connect with them. Anytime I've tried to respectfully bring up things that I want to communicate for the better, I'm always accused of tearing the family apart. For example, just today, we sent a text to all of his sisters asking if they could please make an effort to meet us halfway with visits and celebrations because we're having a baby. We live 2.5 hours away and drive there frequently while they don't visit us ever. And we want to see them visit us more, as 100% of the time we are asked to be somewhere for someone, we are always there. So I said, let's have more family togetherness. I asked if they can spend the holidays near us because I cannot leave the area since I'll be due and I can only go to one hospital. Plus, I need to be near my oncologist as well. The responses added up to, stop tearing this family apart with your drama. Bye.
Oh, you're so dramatic not being able to drive 2.5 hours as a new parent.
I don't know if I would want to have a child with someone who's like when there is so much turmoil that is not being addressed.
Yeah, I think they're just really in love with their partner and they're, compartmentalizing the fact that this family is going to also be involved in your child's life.
Yeah. My husband was livid and just went at it with them about everything I have posted here about. I kept messaging as well, asking my husband to let everyone else speak because we don't want to turn this into anything bad, but it did. They basically shut down on us and stopped responding, and all of his sisters had their say on basically how crappy I am. I will admit that one sister did text me privately to empathize with me, but I would have liked that support out in the open. Anyway, that's my update. Our marriage is very strong and we're very happy for the baby, and I hope that once I am physically holding the baby in my arms, I'll have some value. If not, I hope that the baby does get the benefits of a strong extended family unit, even if I don't. Edit, one of the sisters texted me saying she wanted to get her story straight and would call me tomorrow. I don't know if she's attempting to work things out over the visit situation, which again would be private, so that no one else knows, because none of them want to admit to each other that they may not think I'm total garbage. So I'll see. My husband doesn't want to talk to her and texted her saying if she calls, don't call him because he has nothing to say. I'll see what she has to say, and hopefully I'll be able to update with a resolution to that particular issue. Hopefully. Edit 2, I have received so many valuable replies here that have opened my eyes to information and possible scenarios that I didn't even consider. I want this baby to have a good extended family, but the worst fear would be this baby getting the brunt of the indifference, while future cousins do not. I couldn't imagine that. But I can imagine you guys listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to the story. Any final thoughts?
I have a friend who's kind of in the same boat where it's like his family is being like, why don't you ever come visit us? He's like, no, I have. And it's y'all don't actually come visit me. So I'll see you when you do that. And that's essentially what you should do here. They're like, nope, we refuse to come out. You're just being dramatic. You're trying to tear the family apart. You go, okay, well, since we're brand new parents, I guess we won't be driving out there, so I'll see you when we see you. Yeah. And leave it at that.
Yeah. I think you need to set up more boundaries. Talk to your partner about all of this.
It sounds like he was standing up for it at the end there.
At the end.
It sounds like he's like, you know.
But like, I think this is an ongoing conversation you have to have with your partner about how much like contact you want to have with the family.
This is pretty
Tricky.
pretty bad.
Yeah. His sister hasn't called yet, but I woke up to a text of her saying that she is fearful of my husband.
What?
It makes no sense. He just told him the clear-cut truth about how he feels, and now she's claiming she's afraid of him? I sent her a long text explaining that she's insane for even taking offense at our initial text about visits, and that at most I expected maybe discussing future plans. I had no idea anyone in the world could be offended by being asked to visit more often. I decided that it's not what I said, but it's the fact that I imply that they are not perfect. That's all I can figure. If she does call and if anything develops, I will update, but let me just say this community is one of the best in Reddit because while many of the replies are harsh, they are harsh for a reason. No one is here to sugarcoat good, solid advice. And that is the end of that story. My friend confessed her attraction to a married man. It's my husband.
Uh-oh, divorce.
You can't have that one. I was at a dinner outing with friends. My friend Mary is very attractive and kept getting hit on. She usually can have any man she wants. She shows a lot of cleavage and has big front airbags. This is nothing new for her, but we're all kind of jealous of her. By the way, this comes from She Wants My Husband. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, I met her after I married my husband through her sister, who I knew in college. This is not a small town by any means. We live in a big city with population in the millions, but I guess it's a small world after all. My husband also attended the same college and we met through friends there. So it's not shocking that he knows Mary. Mary and I are kind of close friends now. So we had drinks and Mary was pretty wasted. So were the rest of us, I suppose. All these hot guys kept hitting on her all night.
Uh-oh.
So when Mary shrugged it off and said, it's just the cleavage tonight. Oh, but she was being modest. She gets hit on when she's all covered up too. Anyway, her front airbags became a topic and one of the girls asked Mary if she had ever let anybody titty F her. She said she loves her front airbags, and although she was saving that for her eventual husband, she did let one guy do this to her because she was way too into him. She's like, I'm saving that for marriage.
Yeah, come on.
But yes, I did. We asked her what happened, and she said she proceeded to give us details. It was crazy, spicy related experimentation in weekend hotel rooms. But she said he's married now and wants nothing to do with her.
Oh.
She said she would have married him in a heartbeat, but he would not commit to her. Then she added that she had made advances, but he doesn't bite. We all started teasing her about going after a married guy, but we were all wasted, so it wasn't over the top, and we didn't lecture her. She also said that judging by her interactions with him, sometimes she thinks he's going to cave and take her to a hotel again and F her brains out. She was serious about this.
Oh, no.
One of the other girls got really quiet and kept staring at me. Later, she told me Mary was talking about my husband.
Oh! We knew that, but it's so crazy.
Yoy.
Oh, my gosh.
I was livid, but she wouldn't let me betray her trust and confront Mary. I asked her to call Mary on speaker and ask her. She asked her in a joking way what possessed her to talk about wanting to F my husband when I was sitting right there. Mary laughed and said it was just the booze. I asked my husband about Mary, and he said they had a short fling that didn't last. But Mary described it as having gone on for over 2 years. I didn't know my husband in that time frame, and he didn't know I was friends with Mary's sister until shortly before our wedding, when I invited her to a pre-wedding dinner.
Okay, so, and just to be clear.
So let me be clear.
From both of their stories, it looks like their interactions were totally outside of OP and his relationship.
Yes.
Okay, noted.
I didn't meet Mary until around the same time. I asked him if Mary has ever made advances or flirted, and to flat out deny any of this, he said she keeps a respectful distance. Now I'm angry that my husband didn't tell me he slept with Mary right when I met her. But truthfully, I would have been angry anyway because I'm kind of jealous of her. I also don't know why she says it went on for so long, and he described it as brief, like over a few weeks. Mary insisted that night that she flirts with him and has practically thrown herself at him, but that he hasn't bitten. She also said she thinks it's a matter of time. I didn't ask for details because we were all wasted and I didn't know she was referring to my husband. I'm not sure how to handle this because my husband insists he doesn't know what she's talking about. Now, 2 of my friends know, and they're telling me it was all wasted talk and Mary was just talking out of her butt, that I should just believe my husband and leave it alone. Mary comes to my house for gatherings all the time because we're actually close friends now. She also runs into my husband at the gym often because they both work out with similar schedules. I'm not sure how much to ask my husband. Can I ask him to change gyms? Why is there such a disconnect between what she remembers and what he described? Because one of them is lying. This is driving me crazy to another level. Should I have sat down with her and asked her what all happened? And there is an update. But John,
yes.
What do you think?
Listen, as Sophia said, the math ain't math.
The math ain't math.
The timelines are and the stories are not aligning. So some deception is going on and happening here. I think you absolutely can sit down and basically be like, here. I think ideally don't jump first to like, don't go to the gym, but rather be like, I am uncomfortable that you guys' like gym schedules align so much.
And also that you never told me about your relationship.
That you never told me about all this. Like,
dude, last night you said this was Riley's worst nightmare.
I did say that.
Dude, if my girl was going to the gym with some dude, and I'm gonna be honestly, if that was happening, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna pick up a new workout. I guess I'm working out too.
Let's work out together. Let's work out together.
Yep, all 3 of us.
Yep.
I don't care. And I'm gonna work day and night to make sure I lift more than that guy, and that he knows it.
Oh, dude, if Riley wasn't already competitive gym wise before, oh my God, he would be the swollest man on earth.
So strong.
I'll be like waiting for him to skip a day so I could go to the gym that day. I'd make sure. Oh, you got sick for 2 weeks? Oh, I wonder how that happened.
Yeah.
I poisoned you.
Oh.
But there is an update.
Oh, let's go.
Let me begin by saying a few things about my husband. He is very good looking and gets a lot of attention. It's not just me saying it because he's my husband. He does stick out for his looks. The other thing is that he's an idiot and doesn't know when he's being hit on, and he gets hit on a lot. I also have a problem with jealousy because I'm insecure. Sometimes I get mad at him because he gets too much attention from women, and he never has any idea why I'm mad at him. He drives me nuts because he never changes things up. He gets coffee at the same place. If he wants a burger, same place. If he wants a bagel, same place. Salad, same place. I understand some of this, like haircuts, but he never goes to a variety of places unless I practically force him to. The problem is that there happens to be girls behind the counter. If there happens to be girls behind the counter, they get the wrong idea that he's there to see them. And he's had girls give him their number or email even. Even though he wears a wedding band.
Yeah, I was like wondering, I was like, I mean, yeah, he like likes getting the same coffee, but like, I mean, that's not a crime, but it's like, oh, he goes to the same like barista. Oh God.
The other day I walked into a coffee shop with him and the girl said, "Hi, honey boo," to him. Then she complained that he had not been there in 3 weeks. He's not like a model, but we live in a big city where a lot of modeling agencies are headquartered, and he looks better than models, I think. And many women agree. He has the prettiest eyes and he's fit, but he doesn't know how to do his hair and looks like a nerd most of the time. But it works for his career and it works for me.
Dude, that sounds like Sam.
He's
Like he doesn't know what to do with his hair most of the time, but he looks better than most models.
Dude,
Am I wrong?
That's so funny.
that's so nice of you.
Yeah, right.
He's also too nice, and women take this the wrong way. I'm working on getting him to be more of an a-hole to people. JK. Just want him to be less nice without being a clown. Now to the issue at hand. I asked him about the discrepancy in timeline between him and Mary. He admitted that it lasted months and probably more than a year.
Wait, what was
I'm going to read that again.
Yes.
He admitted that it lasted months and probably more than a year.
that is more than months. That is more than a year, my friend.
He's
Just
like, I admit it lasted months. Well, which was probably more like a year. But
Maybe-
if we're thinking truthfully, it was probably 2 years.
Anywhere from like 3 months to 13 months. I don't even know.
I don't know.
did he say the timeline initially?
No,
Or how-
he said weeks. Or he implied weeks.
Oh.
But that he remembers it all going by so quickly, but he never thinks about it. So when I asked him about it, he didn't think it was important. He doesn't see his time with her as emotionally significant. He also says he runs into her at the gym a lot, but that he doesn't talk to her. Sometimes she walks up and will point out that some sleut is checking him out. She calls all women that look his direction sleuths. I asked him if he would change gyms, and the look on his face was worrisome. I don't think he wants to, but he said he would if I really want him to. I'm afraid my jealousy is going to push him too far. I confronted Mary, and she apologized and said that she still has feelings for him.
Oh, no.
Shocking.
This is not good.
Also, the girls are 25 and the husband is 31.
No.
She shocked me by telling me why we shouldn't be friends. And she wants to stay away from me and my husband because she'll never get over him as long as we're in her life. Well, that's fair. She knows herself, I guess.
Yeah. And she was honest.
Yeah.
So I'll give her that.
She actually requested a transfer to the East Coast and it was granted at her work.
Oh.
She'll be gone for 3 years. That was easy.
Lord,
that was
thank you.
incredibly easy. OP went, hey, that wasn't cool. And she said, you're right. I'm sorry. I'm not over him and I'm leaving for 3 years.
All right.
That was the quickest snap transition I've ever seen in the show.
Insane.
Wow.
It was pretty friendly and she was respectful. She's not leaving until late January 2016. Just one problem with my conversation with Mary. I asked her for some details and this was a mistake. She asked me if I was sure and I said yes. She met him because he was involved with a friend of hers. This girl was a spicy dancer in a very upscale place that's known around here. The spicy dancer brought in Mary for a ménage à trois with my husband. This became a regular practice until Mary developed feelings for him and stole him away from spicy dancer girl. Details about the spicy sleep stuff was worse than I thought. Sigh. I also could tell Mary was getting satisfaction out of telling me all the details. I could tell she knew she had this over me. I was like a willing hostage because I didn't walk away from this conversation. And she knew this, so she took full advantage under the guise of honesty. This made me feel worse and more inadequate. I always thought we had a great spicy sleep life, but now I think it's only great for me all this time. I asked my husband about all the spicy sleep stuff, and he confirmed. I was annoyed and asked him why he never told me about this stuff and why he never told me about his history with Mary. He said he was afraid of telling me about Mary. He didn't think I'd take it well. He also said if Mary had been inappropriate with him, he would have immediately sat me down and told me. But I'm afraid he doesn't know what inappropriate is. But you know what is appropriate?
What is that, Sophia?
Listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search a Poke Storytime.
Correct.
But there is a little bit left to this story.
Oh.
Do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, messy.
Messy.
It seems like husband should have told her
Yeah.
because they're so involved
I
with
mean,
each other.
If Mary had been some person that he never saw again,
Yeah.
don't necessarily need to talk about that.
Yeah.
It was
and also the details explicitly. It's
Yeah,
like, okay, you
yeah,
don't
like,
have
you don't
to.
do- yeah.
It doesn't mean you have to list out okay, here's every past partner and all
No.
the things. Yeah. You don't need
But
to do that.
Mary is a person who's actively in your life.
Yes.
That is something you need to disclose.
Indeed.
But that's it. So we're going to get into the last of this story.
Let's do it.
I also asked him why he never told me he was into all that stuff. the spicy sleep stuff he did with Mary. I told him that I felt spicy sleep with me was boring for him. He said he thinks spicy sleep is great with me. When he talked about what Mary said about the things they did with the spicy dancer and later alone with Mary, he said that he never set out to do any of that. He said it was stuff that happened as opposed to stuff he went out to do. Not sure what the difference is, and it's not much consolation right now. My other friends didn't know and don't know. 2 of my friends know about Mary and my husband, the one who gave me the heads up, and Mary's sister. Mary's sister is married now too, so she kind of takes my side, though she loves her sister and is best friends with her. Not much you can do there.
Yeah.
But that is the end of that story and the end of this episode.
Wow.
Wowee.
My mother-in-law doesn't like me. I don't want her around my future children.
It seems fair to me.
When I first met her, I was very excited because my husband used to talk about his mom a lot, and they had a very close relationship. She seemed like an amazing woman from everything he told me, and when I met her, she honestly reminded me of Mrs. Claus.
Oh.
She had rosy cheeks, short white hair, and cute circle glasses. I was so excited to get to know her personally. By the way, this comes from user throwaway account TT, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, at first, she was very nice and sweet to me. She and I talked a lot upon our first meeting, and I felt like there was a real connection. However, she didn't stay that way, and it was only a facade. When it was announced that my husband and I were engaged, she did not like that. At first, she was opposed to it because she felt like we hadn't really dated that long. It had been 6 months. And I did agree with that. You don't want your child rushing into marriage with someone they haven't been with for even a year. She tried to talk him out of it. And like I said, at first I understood where she was coming from. But after a while, that would be the only thing she would talk about. I would hear him on the phone with her, and I could hear him saying, "Yes, I'm sure," like 10 times. He ended up telling me that she thought I pressured him into proposing to me, which was not even the case. We never even talked about marriage. Yeah, he brought it up in passing, like, "I would want to marry you one day," but I've heard the same thing from high school boyfriends, so I didn't think much of it. It did start to irritate me a little that she would constantly question him about a big decision like that and try to make him change his mind, because I thought she and I had a decent relationship. But when I talked about it with friends and family, they told me not to take it personally because he is her only child, so she's not ready to let go and such, and blah, 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 blah. So I learned how to swallow it down, but things only got worse from there. I invited her to go dress shopping with me and my family. I thought maybe if she saw the dresses and whatnot, she would get excited. And she did look at dresses with me, asking if I would like this or that, and she was smiling. So of course, I'm like, good, she's in a good mood. Maybe she's accepting it. While I was in the dressing room, she knocked on the door and came in. She grabbed my hand and got in a very low voice saying, "I wasn't gonna ask this, but is my son paying for that dress?" The way she asked it in such a sweet voice made me not realize her true feelings at first. So I said, "Yes, he was." And she said, "Oh, well, traditionally, the bride's family does. Blah, 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 blah." So yeah, she's right about that, but he wanted to pay for it. So why were her panties all in a bunch? It was awkward with her after that. Then at our wedding rehearsal, she tells him that she's there for him, and she emphasized it. That really bothered me because she should be here for both of us. Then, of course, at the dinner rehearsal, we did toasts at the dinner instead of at the wedding. Everyone was saying all nice and wonderful things about both of us, and it was really sentimental. His mother gets to make her toast, and all she says is, "I've prayed about this, and I think you need to call off the wedding." Ah!
Oh, no.
The wedding was literally the next day.
No.
I was so pissed off about that. Fast forward 3 years later. My husband was out of town working, and his mom's birthday was coming up, and she was having a party. Of course, with our history, I was hesitant to show up. We hadn't really had many interactions after the wedding. There had been some awkward encounters, but either way, I decided to show my face at her birthday party. I sent her a little text saying I was going to be in attendance about a week before. I go to the party, and I spot my husband's ex-girlfriend there. I had never met her before, but I knew what she looked like. First off, why is she here? Why is she in contact with my mother-in-law? I know exactly why. You want to know why?
Why?
For all my pop culture heads out there, this is a hypothetical Justin Bieber in this story is married to hypothetical Hailey Bieber, but mom wants the marriage to be with hypothetical Selena Gomez, who she had always thought was really the one for hypothetical Justin Bieber.
Yep.
That's all this is.
I completely agree. Thanks for putting it in terms that I would understand.
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
You're
so
welcome. Thank you for understanding. I come to find out my mother-in-law still chats with her. While I was there, I was forced to talk to this woman and pretend to be friendly with her. Then his mom makes this snarky comment to the ex-girlfriend that they dated for 8 years, and that's a really long time to be with someone, blah, blah, blah. As if she was trying to rub it in my face. I'm just like, wow, that's crazy. He dated someone for 8 years and didn't want to marry her.
Ooh, that's a great thing to say.
No. You've been forced into this position, so I can't.
Yeah.
That was the perfect response. I get why it may be confusing why he didn't get married to someone he dated for 8 years, because that's almost a decade, but he told me he just never loved her in that way. She kept bringing up her job and all the things going on in her life trying to make me feel inferior. After that, I was done with his mom. I don't give an F about her. I told him what she did, that she obviously planned for this woman to come so she could try to mess with my head. My husband was also upset that she did that and did stick up for me. It kind of created a rift in their relationship as well. They weren't talking as much, and of course, she blamed me for that. She claimed that I turned her son against her and that he's whipped. Why would she say that about her daughter-in-law? We finally had a sit-down talk about what was going on. We each had a turn to speak about the problem, so I said my part, then she said her real reason for hating me. She thinks I married her son for his money. She says that when he met me, I didn't have a penny to my name, and that really hurt me because I grew up poor. She's mad that he didn't get a prenup, and it's a standard procedure when someone has a certain wealth status. She said his last girlfriend was perfect for him because they had careers and wealth, and she was blonde. That comment made my stomach turn because I'm black.
Oh, man.
Might as well have just said, man, she was perfect because she had a job and she wasn't black and she blah, and also you're black and blah, blah, blah. I don't like that you're black. Like,
yeah.
What are you talking about? Blonde? You might as well have been like, oh, well, she has blonde hair, blue eyes.
Blue eyes.
You know.
Perfect.
I like the literature she reads.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
That is an absurd thing to
just like slip in there.
I got this sick feeling that it was the real reason she hates me. Not because I was poor, but because of my skin color. She also said that she hopes we never have children, which is something we both want dearly. And I couldn't help but get emotional about that. By the way, you can get emotional listening to full episodes with stories just like this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime. And that's all you need to do.
So easy.
You'll find over 2,000 episodes to listen to.
Wow.
There is a little bit more story left here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually kind of a decent chunk amount. But like, do you have a solution to this awful mother-in-law?
I don't know what you do with a mother-in-law that is. I don't know what to do with those.
Yeah, I think you just completely disregard her from now on.
Yeah, you'll have to.
Especially if she's like low-key, just...
Yeah.
Not even low-key, just high-key.
Just
telling
is.
a black woman that you were like, yeah, his ex was perfect because she was blonde.
Just adding that in as if we wouldn't notice.
Just like,
we see you.
like, oh, and coincidentally, there are no blonde black people.
Right,
like, right. Unless you, I mean, well, actually, I don't know. Maybe you can with a very specific
if they have
set
like
of recessed alleles.
Yeah.
I don't know
or if
what
they're like
kind of
albino or something, or have certain pigmentation things. I'm sure it exists.
It can.
But typically.
But that was very much just an underhanded way of saying like, I wish you were white.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And would make sense why she's so anti-you.
Yeah, no one is going to care about someone's hair color if they don't actually mean their skin color. You know what I mean? Like that kind of. Right.
My husband thinks I'm taking the blonde part the wrong way, but he agrees the statement about the children is low. Well, dude, yeah, she's not saying anything about the kids if she's not like, I don't want you to have mixed race kids.
Yeah.
So, of course, the hair thing is the same thing.
Absolutely.
How can you get one of those and not get the other one?
They are connected.
That's crazy.
My guy.
I realize he grew up in a small town where there's nothing but white people. His mom imagined him with a white woman, and he brings home a poor black girl and marries her in 6 months. It all makes sense now. He keeps saying that she doesn't hate me. She's just stuck in her ways and is very traditional, aka stuck in her ways and very traditional in this context is just...
Yeah.
She's just stuck in her ways. She's very traditional. She hates black people.
Yeah.
But
like,
it's okay. What?
No.
It does hurt that he can't just Call it what it is and stop making excuses for her. I would never in my life try to get my husband to choose between me and his mom because that's just not right. But I seriously don't want this woman in my life, nor our unborn children's lives. He obviously doesn't want that, but I don't know where to go from here. Comment number 1 here. He's going to continuously make excuses for her. You have to decide if you're okay with that. She's not going anywhere. She's and he either doesn't see it as that or he's willing to overlook it. I know you may love him, but to try to keep this woman in your life shows he doesn't care about you. Comment 2, ask your husband why his mother would prefer a blonde. There's no reason. She's being You deserve the right to not be around her. That ain't your mother. OP said, exactly. We have been over it too many times. He is living in denial because to him, blonde is just a hair color and nothing more. Comments like that tend to go over people's heads who have never been exposed to racial microaggressions like that. But like you said, she's not my mother, so I have no desire to be in her life. Comment 3 says his mom is... He is an apologist. You do what you will with that information. All I will say is do not bring biracial children into this world knowing this. OP downvoted. I think he's just sticking up for his mom and wants to keep the image he has of her just being perfect. I would never want to bring my children into a family where their grandma will make them feel horrible about themselves. Reply, see, just with this comment, you're protecting this man. Why? Well, because he's your husband. Yet his mom can say whatever and he doesn't protect you, his wife. Guys, why are we pretending though like that's not complicated?
Yeah, that is true.
It's not like his mom was just dropping flat out racial slurs and being like, you're disgusting and I hate you.
Sure.
And is being like, well, she's just traditional.
Yeah.
Being told, I don't know. I've been told information about people that completely flipped my perspective on them. Right. But the moment I was told it, I didn't just do a 180 and go, okay. It was like it had to bake. It had to sink in. I had to see things for myself.
Right. You got to get more context to the situation. Yeah, but the internet doesn't like to do that.
Right, of course
the internet
not.
Likes to
and
do one way or the other.
It is important though,
sure.
if he's not seeing this, you need to continue to try to make him see this.
Yes.
It's not just like we'll put a, oh well. It's like I don't think he's the devil, but I also don't think it's good that he doesn't see his mom would be to his own children.
In what other situations is he gonna, if people are microaggressive towards his children, is he going to ignore that and let it happen or something? It can cause some other problems.
If the roles were reversed, you would never allow that to happen. He's a grown man. He's not a child anymore. And wife should come before mom because you are now his future. Really decide if a husband who won't protect you is the husband for you. OP says he has stood up for me before, just not when it comes to the discriminatory comment. I can't make him cut her out. It's something he has to decide on his own. If I get in his ear and tell him to cut her off because she's a horrible person, then he'll just be upset with me. I think it's something he has to figure out on his own, and as long as he understands, I won't, nor will our kids be around her. Comment 4 says, ask him if he can truly 100% believe that his mom will indefinitely show your future children love and kindness, that she won't be cruel or constantly make remarks that they're inferior in her mind. And if he thinks your children deserve that treatment because, well, she's stuck in her ways, OP says he thinks that she'll come around when we actually have children because she loves kids, but I don't believe it. Ooh, and I don't want to risk my children's mental health on it. I lived through a spiteful grandma and no kid deserves that. There's a reply. It says, has she ever been around non-white kids? OP says, probably not. She lives in a small town with only white people, so unless she traveled somewhere, then there's a possibility. And that is the end of that story.
My wife's brother-in-law sent inappropriate messages. She acts like it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I was just letting them know when to meet me tonight.
So, my wife, 36 female, and my brother-in-law, 35 male, have been running together for the past few months. My wife told me that besides their weekend runs, they were also running during the week after work. Well, brother-in-law was not telling his wife about all the runs, and my wife kept them secret from her sister, though I suspect that she didn't tell me about all the runs either. By the way, this comes from a radio election, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. Anyways, my wife's sister somehow finds out about them running during the week and gets upset. I tell my wife that I agree with her sister and that they should stop running, as it is starting to get weird with the lying. I also pointed out that it seemed a little weird to be running that much together, and she commented that it was not like they were having an affair. As I think back now, over these last few months, she was very complimentary of how open my brother-in-law was on the runs, how they could speak about everything, and how I didn't bring anything to the table. She seemingly got mad at me all the time for the smallest things, and there were frequent comments about how the brother-in-law was so great. Well, last weekend, her sister got upset, and my wife said that she would not run with him anymore. She explained that she ran with him since she didn't feel safe running outside alone, and that he and her ran the same place. Her sister left it as, do what you want, but was clearly upset. My wife didn't run all week, but he was texting her constantly about running, and she finally agreed to go Saturday morning. She asked if I was okay with it, and I told her that I really wasn't, and it seemed strange that she would go against her sisters and my wishes. She commented that they were just running partners and that everyone was acting weird for no reason. Well, 1 hour later, she comes flying through the door and says that he told her that he wanted to kiss her and texted the same. My wife was all upset and said that she called him and said, "What are you thinking?" and that he was crazy and hung up. I was shocked that my brother-in-law would pull this and asked my wife what would have led to this, and that guys don't just say things like that for no reason. We denied any conversations about our marriage, issues, or anything that would have led him on. I told her I love you and believe you and that you must tell your sister. She said absolutely not, as it would destroy her family and that it wasn't a big deal. She got upset when I told her that I wanted her to tell brother-in-law that I was aware and said that he already learned his lesson and that would blow it out of proportion. I am very upset, told her the same, and she basically said that we just needed to move on and act like nothing happened. I disagreed, and she now will not talk about it and told me that I'm acting like a baby and ruining our relationship with my attitude about it. I feel like she was having an emotional affair and is now protecting him and herself because she developed some sort of feelings for him. I ended up looking at our phone bill and seeing that she had multiple calls over the last couple months with him that were 10, 15, and 20 minutes long during the workday when I'm obviously not around. Not proud of this, but I looked at her messages and took a picture of the one saying that he wanted to kiss her. There were also messages about him giving her a special birthday present and then one saying, "I assume you deleted the text before you got home and let's just forget about this one." For some unknown reason, my wife is willing to act like this is no big deal when in reality it is a big deal to me. Maybe I shouldn't be upset, but I can't shake the feeling that she is not as innocent as she is putting forth. I don't believe anything physical happened, but why defend a dirtbag like this and allow him to go on like nothing happened? Especially when your sister is involved. I need some advice on how to handle this. We do have a small update, but what do we think? What do we think we should do?
I would be having a very serious conversation with brother-in-law.
Yeah. Cut out the middleman, absolutely. I took some of the below advice, and over dinner, my wife commented that she was glad that I wasn't going to say anything to anyone and just act normal around the family. I responded that was, in fact, not the case, and I am still very uncomfortable and upset about what happened, and I'm not sure how I'll react. She lost her crap and started calling me all sorts of names and said that my actions are going to destroy our relationship and I should just call her ex-wife as she won't tolerate me disregarding her wishes.
She's baiting you to break up with her.
She's literally like just putting everything on you. It's not my actions that are doing this, it's yours. I explained that I feel it's wrong to just forget it ever happened and that I didn't appreciate her defending and excusing brother-in-law's actions. She continued yelling that she now can't trust me and won't tell me things in the future. Told me that I'm going to destroy the whole family, her parents, her sister, our lives, with my not agreeing to let it go. Yelling about how dare I blame her. I made it clear I'm not blaming her and that my focus is brother-in-law's actions, but she doesn't want to hear this. I'm currently getting the silent treatment. We have small update number 2. After she stopped yelling last night and transitioned to the silent treatment, she went straight to bed upstairs. Woke up this morning in zero conversation with complete silent treatment. The only words uttered were to call me an a-hole for putting a wet towel on top of my daughter's homework. She then walked out the door for work. And we do have another big update. As an update, I took the last few days to think about it, and I just could not get over my brother-in-law saying this, especially in the light of the phone calls and incessant texting between them. My wife was insistent the other day that if I did not just forget it, that her entire family will be destroyed and her sister will be crushed.
Oh, boo-hoo.
I told her that I would not say anything to her sister as that was not my place. She then said that I would also not mention anything to my brother-in-law and just go about business as usual and drop it. I told her I didn't agree and didn't know what to do. Well, today I am out and I see him. He acts all buddy-buddy and I just looked at him and told him that he crossed the line and to stop contacting my wife and don't go to my house when I'm not there. 5 minutes later, I have all these missed calls and nasty text messages from my wife saying that I destroyed the family and that she can't trust me and that I am a monster for saying anything to him.
Oh my gosh. He's trying to fight for your relationship.
I called her and she was screaming like a banshee, claiming that she couldn't breathe and was having an anxiety attack. All because of me. She repeatedly stated that she no longer had any trust in me and doesn't know if there is a future for us. She then went into how my brother-in-law was crying and all scared that I was going to tell everyone, and he was now devastated for his kids. I told my wife that he shouldn't worry about that since I have no plans to tell his wife. I then stated it was wrong for her to continue defending and being concerned about his emotions when I have been crushed all week about this issue. I walked in the door to her screaming that she trusted me to not say anything and that I stabbed her in the back. I then got the "don't talk to me as I need to think about us" and damage control going forward. I made it clear that because of her hysteria, I texted my brother-in-law and stated that the last words I will speak of this occurred today. It's on you to tell the others, not me. I don't care what you do. I told my wife that if she had no such intentions, then there is nothing that she did wrong and is just being used as a pawn in his game. It's not her fault that he decided to pull such a move. So right now I'm sitting downstairs. My wife stormed up to bed and isn't talking to me. I feel I had to say something as I was not going to play the secret game on this and have to act like nothing happened. I mean, she was commenting that he has a family and kids, to which I replied that he didn't give a dang about my family and kids when he said that he wanted to kiss her, and I'm sure that he was hopeful the feeling was mutual. So please explain why my wife doesn't understand my anger over the situation and continues to blame me. I'm upset that my wife is furious at me, but in the end, I really don't think my actions were out of the line and I stand by them. Am I crazy? Maybe I just tanked my own marriage, but who wants to stay with someone when they would defend someone like the brother-in-law? And we do have another update. What do we think?
Your wife's mad at you because she has emotions for this guy.
She just really isn't. It's so
Or she's trying
obvious
to
what's
stay in
happening. She's just trying to stay fit and healthy, man. Thank you for all the great advice. I haven't taken a scorched earth policy as I don't want to blow this up for my kids. My one child is already asking why mom is acting out. Anyways, this morning I told my wife that this is unacceptable and I'm not the bad guy and won't cover for the lies. I asked her directly if she had feelings for brother-in-law, and she exploded that she hates me, hates him, and I destroyed the family and wants a divorce. She said that she isn't living her life with my threats. I made zero threats. I said I wanted to sit down and have an open and honest discussion about this tonight. She flew out the door to work. I left her a detailed voicemail stating that we needed to sit down and talk about our options of 1, seeing if this is salvageable, and 2, if not, to discuss coming to an amicable agreement to end our marriage so the least possible damage is done to the kids. No response from her. And we do have a final update. Oh, wow. So I spoke with my wife last night and explained the 2 options and expressed that a serious discussion was needed on what took place. She immediately lost it when I asked about whether or not she had spoken negatively about our marriage and myself to brother-in-law. She started screaming that I have no right to interrogate her. She then deflected it back to me destroying the family by telling brother-in-law I knew, despite her saying to just drop it. I explained that I was emotionally devastated by this and that the fact that she was lying to her sister and I was the real issue in my book. I asked if she had spoken to brother-in-law since the other day. She initially denied it, and when I pointed out that earlier in the convo she mentioned a call, she got belligerent and started with me being a monster and destroying her life. She is screaming, and I just maintained my composure and said I needed to know everything that was said and done between them in order to try to salvage our relationship. She was adamant that nothing physical ever happened. In her mania, she started saying that she needed a few days to think about what she wanted to do since I violated her trust. I told her that she does not get to direct the narrative as I'm not the bad guy here, and if anyone is, it is the brother-in-law for putting her in the situation. I asked her if she loved me, and her response was that 2 days ago when she thought that I wasn't saying anything, that she loved me, but now, after my actions, she no longer does. I looked right at her and said that this means it is the end of our marriage, as I cannot reconcile a marriage where one partner no longer loves the other. She told me to go F myself and then shut down. And we'll never tell you to go F yourself, but we will tell you to go to iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. You'll find full episodes with more stories just like this one. I commented that her actions make it appear that there is much more going on than I'm being told, and that I will get to the bottom of it after comparing my notes with sister-in-law. I slept in the guest bedroom, woke up this morning, got a good workout in, and she didn't make any comments before leaving for work. However, she had made my lunch, and I think it was her way of trying to break the ice. I am meeting my sister-in-law for coffee this morning to discuss, and then meeting my attorney to get the ball rolling. I'm not a doormat, nor am I the person in the wrong here. I know I will never be able to trust her again, and her actions confirm this. So thank you all for the advice.
Oh,
wow, man.
There we are. Yeah, get it straight with the sister-in-law. It's super smart. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I mean, they're on a team here now. They're getting attacked by these other people. So
it looks like you're single now.
Yeah, they're just gonna alert it.
So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
Well, we love you.
And see you tomorrow.